Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Shooting the Shelf here on Just Shelve It. I'm Jesse Arnold, and with me is the one and only Curtis Ackerman. I don't know why I overextended your name there.
It's all right.
The CD was skipping in my voice box.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How are you doing tonight, Curtis?
Doing excellent.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we got a couple folks hanging out in the chat over there. We got Masterversal Eldor, welcome. Mike Casper, figuratively speaking. Danny, Dave, Joe, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here, whether you're watching this live or on the replay.
And Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Yes. Well, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Easter Sunday evening, or just Sunday evening, if that's not a thing for you, which is totally fine. But it is time to bring on episode 14 of season 2's guest. Give a round digital welcome of applause
and warmth
warmth to Alexander DeShaw. How are you doing tonight, Alexander?
How you doing, guys? I'm all right.
Do our warm digital things.
The warm digital things, yep.
Yeah.
See, you say it, you put it in my head, and it's like you inception me. We got Steve-O's here, Stephanie's here. Hello, everybody. So how's it going, Alexander?
It's going.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm all warm and fuzzy inside now, so
Beautiful.
Good. Did you like eat something warm and fuzzy, like a Pop-Tart?
rotten tomato. I don't know.
A peach.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe.
Millions of peaches.
I can't think of anything else that I would eat that would be fuzzy.
Peaches for me. Clearly you
Well,
don't.
I'm not going to
alone.
say anything about that.
Oh goodness.
All right.
It's getting spicy tonight. Okay. Alexander, you are one of the few people I had on before last year, but you were not here when Curtis was co-host. So we're just gonna repeat last year's interview and just get you to tell Curtis everything, because
yeah, you guys can take the rest of the show off, and I'll just play that and make comments about whatever.
I'll just have that. Yeah. But hey, no. It is the beginning of the show, and we have our fun little segment, shelf selections. So we'll go through these, and as always, we got Curtis going first. I'm going to put Alexander at the top. So, I did not center these pictures on the slides this week. I'm on top form tonight.
It's all right. This is from Michael Xavier at _Michael_Xavier on Instagram. And he's using the dwarf head from the heads pack. I believe that's what is that? The boar. What is the boar? The
Warrior?
Warrior. I believe that's warrior body, but it could be just a regular dwarf body that he painted. I'm not sure. But it kind of looks like that same color scheme. But I just thought it was a cool little custom with that heads pack one, and then the shot itself. Just with the diorama and trees in the background, and you kind of got like this ogre right here at the front of the picture. I just thought it was a really cool shot overall. So
yeah, I when you first sent this to me, like, I didn't realize that was a diorama. I thought like he had like just a really nice outdoor shot that was just like diffused and all that. So yeah, that is a fun pop and that's a cool hammer. I know I've seen that hammer before, but I don't remember where it's from.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea where that comes from, but it's cool looking.
Not want to get hit in the face or really anywhere with that thing.
No, there's a lot of places I would not want to be hit with that thing.
Yeah. Oh, seriously? I
did not include yours.
It
just doubled me up.
I do things.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, this is another one of mine. This is from Joe, who is in the chat. Joe Customs, and he's been doing his mud thumps lately, and this is the newest one. And I just love this. I like everything about it. The little necklace there, the club, the way he did like his feet and everything. Like it just looks really cool. So I've pretty much loved the entire group of mud thumps that he's been doing. So if you've watched our last few shows, you've seen I've put a lot of his in here. So sorry, I'll try to be a little bit more diverse and select some other people, but he's just been killing it lately. So
love that club.
Nothing wrong with
Where's
that.
that from?
That's a Detour, isn't it?
I don't know. It might be. I know that Planetary had one similar to that too.
Oh, okay.
Or was it Planetary or My X Figure Custom? I don't know. Maybe Joe can tell us. He's in the chat.
Okay.
But there's a lot of unique things in here, from those wrist wraps, the stuff on the legs, the feet wearing kind of sandals. So yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff going on in this picture.
Before we move on, we were given some options for other kiwi and cotton candy. So
would you say cotton candy's fuzzy?
Heck yeah.
Starts that way.
Yeah.
Then it melts in your mouth.
I like when the cotton candy kind of gets crystallized and it's like got crunchies in it.
That's called stale.
Yeah, well, no. Sometimes when it gets stale, it gets like chewy. I don't like that. But like when there's a little extra crystallized in it, chewy
hair.
Yeah, almost like Pop Rocks within.
It's like when you get like melted cheese in your beard, and it's like, oh, they'll snack for later.
Yeah, there you go. Right in the flavor saver. So,
all right, this one is partially a sales post. Harker Customs has a new wired cape for Valak. I just saw today, and I just really like the way I'm doing the thing with the mouse every time. The way the cape is swooping forward there at the bottom, and the way he's got the cinder like hanging off his back there. I just really like that shot. But yeah, check out Harker Customs on Instagram, and he's got links to get those if you're interested in that purple Valak cape.
Cool.
Man,
awesome.
Purple capes are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll go with pretty much any of your vampires, probably except for Baron Voliger or not Baron Voliger. Your guy Curtis.
Lord Dragul.
Yeah,
Dragul or Vorgus.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool cape. I don't. The only thing I have from him from Harker Customs is the Sir Gerard one. I ended up getting like 5 of those, and they're really good. So I would imagine the quality is very similar. Kind of it looks like it's wired all the way around sides and the bottom. So yeah, you can get some really, really cool poses with those. So
for sure. Yeah.
I think he had a Black Templar one that he was also selling that I was trying to get.
Okay.
At the time he wasn't making them yet. So I'll have to go back and check and see if he's got that available now.
Yeah. Check out, it's right there. Harker Customs on Instagram.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like how a wired cape can make a lot of difference in a figure. For sure.
Agreed.
We got another one from Curtis.
Yep. So this is a new head from Wolf King Customs. It's one that was worked on by Jeremy Gerard and Walter DeMarco. And this is obviously posted by Jeremy on the Mythic Customs on Instagram, and just using that big giant elephant head on a stone troll. It just looks badass. Like that head is so huge. Lynn has to print it in, I believe, 5 parts. I think it's the ears, the trunk, the head, and then the tusk, all separate. And then you have to put it all together. And the thing is just massive. I mean, you know how wide a troll is, and you can see from ear to ear. It covers like from shoulder to shoulder on that troll. So it's just massive. And just the way that he painted this and everything. And then the outdoor shot, I just love this thing.
Yeah. Did you take apples to your teacher in school too?
No.
I'm just kidding. No, I love this one. I saw it and I was like, ooh, I kind of want to put that on a ice troll.
Yeah.
I love he's got the. Well, I don't know what like loin pieces on there. That looks like from something else.
I don't know. I'm sure if you go to Jeremy's Instagram, he probably talks about it because he usually lists all the parts and where he gets them from and stuff. There's not a ton of troll heads out there, but I usually don't mess with too much customizing on trolls. I do have the one from Immortal Collections, that one that they did for the stone troll with kind of the guy with the gnarly teeth in front.
Oh yeah.
So I've got one of those, and I know some people have done some other different heads with it. I know you had done a run on those whale ones, right? That you painted.
They weren't troll size.
Okay. Those were
Brian
right?
C. Yeah, Brian C. I had them at my table at LegionsCon, but they were Brian CB makes. Does like the dragon one. He does the whale one. And then Mark Rivera did some really cool ones as well. And I know there's the Trollhead Forest group for on Facebook for trolls. And so I think trolls are gonna be getting a lot more love. And there's something coming from the Sutts, Paul and Jamie Sutt, for the like troll accessories and stuff. They've got some sort of mask one and weapons coming. So yeah. And Danny's telling us that's from some sort of NECA Kratos figure.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, but I just thought this was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, this is, even though I don't usually mess with my trolls too much, this is one I might end up having to get because it just looks like it fits on that body really, really well.
Yeah. Next up, I pulled this one from Tatted Toy Dude, aka Van Johnson. He's been doing a whole series where he's painting up friends of his, making customized versions of his crew. And, we got Ish right there in the middle. I just think that's really cool seeing all these people who I know in person showing up as figures. I'm pretty sure Brian Almeida scanned these. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who was doing these. But yeah, just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I saw another shot of this, and that one in the front left there. Like I actually thought that was somebody's face, that like somebody photoshopped it.
Oh yeah,
on that body. Because not only is the sculpt amazing, but the paint job is just fantastic. So
yeah,
this is kind of a cool idea, but that one in the front left really blew me away.
Yeah,
absolutely. Where's the button? There's the button.
And this one is Nate Strong at Corona 4. And, I'm a sucker for any kind of snag photography. And just him in this shot kind of walking away from that, kind of Buddha-like troll in the background with the jeweled eyes and, who knows what he just swiped from there. Just kind of walking away all cool like. So I just thought this was a really cool shot.
Yeah, I saw those online last year and I thought, I was like, oh, that would be cool with Mythics. And then like the next night I saw someone, it might have been Greg, posting it in their display. And I was like, all right, well, I got to get it now. It's like, I don't even care that it's a dice tower. But I love it because it's using art off the original. It was one of the original D&D books, original hardcover. So it's just cool seeing that.
Yeah, I think on Nate's post, he had a picture of that cover, that original cover. That he kind of did it off of. So, just a really cool shot. And I mean, Nate always does amazing work. So
yeah,
he's another one that I kind of cycle through here kind of regularly. So
I'm
going to try to, hit a few more people. But sometimes you see something like this and it's like, it's too cool not to show it. So
yeah, Dave. Yeah, absolutely. I love how he's got him posed where he looks like he's in stride. It's not just a static, it feels kinetic.
Yeah.
My next pick, this one isn't so much a custom or anything, but this was a post from Nell in the Cabal, was just sharing. It's here goes my Mr. Rogers bit. This was a whole thing where it was just seeing the community like sharing love, and he was getting excited because someone else got a figure a newer collector to the group who had gotten a Balam and they were really excited about it. So Nell put up a post, and like it was a very thoughtful post. So if you're in the Cabal, go look up Nell's post the other day. It was just a really nice write up about the community and everything. And as if you've watched the show, you know that it's a huge thing for us. And so yeah, I just wanted to share the sharing the love post.
So let me get this straight. So he's not the one that got the figure. He's not the one that gave the figure. Somebody else got a figure, made a post about it, and then he made a post about their post.
He made a post about that, but yeah, he talks about the community and how people in the community like help each other out and all this stuff. So it was just a really nice,
gotcha.
Kind of like, I think he calls it his introspection appreciation post. So it was just talking about the community and the group and everything. And I just thought that was really cool. I think he just shared the same character because he had it in his collection.
Gotcha.
And I think there might have been a story with how he got it or something too. I don't remember all the details, but it was a nice post.
So when you do the recap from this show and you make a post, it'll include your post about his post about the other guy's post.
Yeah, it's one of those infinity mirror things.
Gotcha.
Where it just I don't know why I'm doing this because it's
yeah. And then somebody else will make a post about our show, making a post about that guy's post, making a post about the other guy's post.
Yeah. And by next week, Balam will be the most desired action figure on the interwebs.
Here's what I'll say about Balam. I do not have the figure. I love the armor. The head, I'm just kind of like the cat heads don't do anything for me. So it does nothing for me as far as the cat head goes, but I love that armor. Just the paint job on it, the colors, it's really cool. And you're right. Like anytime that we see, positive vibes and people sharing and helping each other out in the community is much better than the opposite. So yeah,
I'd rather see posts like this than someone asking for their shipping notice, like the day after someone gets the first shipment out or that sort of thing. So I'm gonna hype that up.
Cool.
And welcome, David. Good to see you there tonight.
Howdy, David.
David Williams.
Let's move on.
Been doing a lot of art lately.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people wanting him to tattoo his art on them at LegionsCon. So
I'm gonna be the next one.
So this is Way of Mandalay on Instagram. I think it's Way.
He's the one that did the giant goblin last week, right?
Yep. Yeah, the swole goblin. And I just love. I believe that is a head from a Warcraft figure, and I'm not sure about the weapon. But I saw it on like the original character. But I think I've seen this beard in other posts people have done with the beard swaying. And I was like, how did they get that? I just really love that beard. So I don't know how much of this was full custom, but it's just if it's just a pop and swap, it's fantastic. But yeah, Way of Mandalay. It's like Way Lehan or something like that in the Cabal if you're in the Facebook group. But
gotcha.
Let's see. Next up. All right, here we go. I think that was all of ours, Curtis.
It was all of mine for sure.
Okay. And now we got one that Alexander sent to us that he wanted to talk about. So why don't you take this one away, Alexander?
This one, I came across this one on my feed, and I don't know, the narrative of this just really kind of took me away, and I just spent my 10 minutes staring at it. Like it almost kind of has that feeling of like the in Lord of the Rings when they gather around the One Ring, when they get the group together. It gave me that same vibe, and with it all being Xylota's flock, it was just like that. I gotta send that to you guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, I love the like. I don't know if it looks like it's outside with some sort of like custom, not custom, but like some sort of like Dio made out of actual rocks and outdoor stuff. Just because the light's so bright. But I love this. Man, I'm doing with the mouse again. I love like the broken sword. Looks like some sort of master sword.
Yeah, it looks like it's a He-Man sword for sure.
But just getting them all in there, I think, is really cool. And like they're all green, so that makes me happy. It's probably making Patrick happy.
I had to look it up because they had that Deltagar in there, and I'm like, Deltagar is Zylona's flock, and it had me confused there for a second. But he must have just fit him in there because of the green. Gotcha, because he's Army of Odysseus.
Well, maybe he's coming to the flock for some mission. Like Boromir came from Gondor for the Council of Elrond. Yeah.
Could be. And so he dressed the part. He said, make sure I wear the green armor.
Yeah. And this was by Drew. Nope. Curtis, can you say the name?
That. Drew Chase.
Yes. In the Ethereal Congregation, one of the newer Facebook groups dedicated to all things Elven and Fae in Facebook for Mythic Legions. So
yeah, that's not his normal armor. That Deltagar looks like he used something else because it's got
orange.
It's got the different pauldrons with the brown on them. Who is?
Maybe that's like supposed to be like an unhelmeted Ornn. Maybe I don't know. That kind of looks like Ornn Steelhide colors, maybe.
Yeah.
Or as a not as a learning guard, a Silverhorn Sentry.
I don't know whose pauldrons those are. I don't know if he customized those and painted them like that, or if it is an Ornn that he just kind of threw the that Deltagar head on it.
Well, it's got a
Silverhorn. Cool idea because I don't use that Deltagar head on my Deltagar, so that would be a cool use for him to put him in Zylona's flock.
He's got
Patrick says that is Ornn's armor.
Okay, looks like he's got like so maybe it's just a custom character pop and swap that he put together because he's got like the Silverhorn antlered helmet there too. It looks like So
I
cool.
wish they had more pictures of that. I would look at that all. But
yeah,
cool.
See, that's the kind of scene in that Dio I made last year. That's the kind of stuff I imagined happening in that scene. So that's that was really cool to see that. Thank you for sharing, Alex.
I will say that Zylona's flock is my least favorite faction, but it's still cool to see a group of folks gathered around like that. I think that they would get wiped out by every other faction because they are little forest creatures that can't fight. So,
I mean, have you not seen Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I mean, that's Lucas letting puppets and furballs win. So, I mean, that's not realistic.
Critters, gremlins.
I'm just saying, you put orcs up against like forest creatures, taking orcs all day. Vampires, skeletons, any of those. Yeah, I'm taking them. I'm taking them. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's the show, folks. Curtis won't be back next week.
I'm the new co-host.
I'm just not a Zylona guy. Sorry.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
It's not my thing. You know what, Joe? I'm kind of stirring the pot because I know that Jesse loves them, but at the same time, they really are my least favorite.
And that's okay.
They're just too peaceful. I don't,
I've never played the Battlefront games, but I love that when I was in high school, I remember it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the people my age, like guys in my high school, my class and stuff, they hated the Ewoks. I'm like, and that was like, I loved the Ewoks. They were great. Yeah, it would have been cooler if they were Wookiees, but they couldn't find 100 7-foot tall people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the thing I'm seeing where in Battlefront, like if you're a stormtrooper and you arrive on Endor at night and like you take like 10 steps away from your ship, like you almost instantly die because the Ewoks, like their little eyes glow in the background and all of a sudden you're just dead. Yep. I just think that's hilarious that it's flipped around now.
It's a fun mode.
So,
I don't know that I've played that game.
I haven't either, but I've seen it. And, they captured Han, they captured the heroes in the movie. They were going to eat them. Like, it's only because Luke spun 3PO around like a giant.
C-3PO was their god.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like he was going to eat him. He's a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the little blue guys on Galaxy Quest, the miners.
I had to correct my daughter today because she was talking. Well, first of all, she upset me. Okay, we're watching a little bit of Empire Strikes Back today. It was on TNT, and she said something that I hate to even repeat it because it's so ridiculous. She said that C-3PO is her favorite character, and I just didn't know how to respond to that. And she said that she likes robots with personality, and I'm like, have you ever seen the Terminator? Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to become self-aware, and you're the kind of person that they're going to kill first because you're going to be like, oh, it's a cute robot. Blast, you're dead. So,
but what does it have to do with C-3PO?
I don't trust robots. I'm like Mando. I don't trust robots. I don't. And on top of that, he's like pre-Jar Jar. Like that's C-3PO. He's kind of a little annoying. You know, just always kind of, just.
It's not annoying. He's just British.
Now you're
British.
I'm kidding. I love British people. Some of my
Out
best
of the
friends are British.
original
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What are you saying, dude?
Out of the original cast, though, would you say, like, would you ever consider C-3PO your favorite, or even close to your favorite out of that original cast?
But I'm not your daughter, so I mean that's on you to some extent.
Jesus, teachable moment. That's right. That's right. Don't trust robots.
No, in the real world, yes. Like all this AI stuff and all that stuff really kind of freaks me out, makes me uncomfortable to an extent. But no, I mean, 3PO has always been fine. I always liked R2 better.
Actually, you know who the first people are that are going to die by robots? Those people that buy like the sex robots. They're going to be the first ones.
All right. Well, we're not gonna wander down that.
I'm just saying those would be the first people. You know, like you're putting a lot of trust in that. You know.
I mean, if it makes you happy and it's not hurting anybody, you do you.
Until they become self-aware.
I mean that's the amendment. You know, everything's fine until it's not. You know.
All right.
Alexander, what are your thoughts on robots?
They're okay as long as they help us.
Right, yeah. We've kind of had some of this discussion.
Robotics.
We've kind of had this talk before, though. It's like there's a difference between robots helping us and robots taking over doing things that we were doing, you know.
But it starts with them helping us. That's the thing.
Yeah. So it's you know, even if they don't turn against us and try to kill us, it depends on how many soft goods you use. Even if they don't kill us, if they're putting people out of work, it's still not a good thing. So
what's the fabric to toy / robot percentage that makes it a doll?
Whatever your attire is, okay? Whatever your attire is, if it's 33% or more soft goods,
there we go. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I just got that Mezco Wolverine. It's a doll. Now, it's a glorious doll, and I love it.
And you have an issue, apparently.
But it's a doll. Yeah. So
Star, I'm 50-50 on that, Star. It could be better. You know, it could go the Matrix, you know. I mean,
I'm gonna
and that's kind of what my daughter said today. I told her, like, just wait till they become self-aware and kill of us. And she's like, good. I'm like, what? she's like, I like the robots better. Oh, all right. So
okay.
But that's like people that, like, you can watch, like, you know, people getting kicked in the balls or like racking themselves like on a bike accident or something, and it's funny. But if like a cat falls down the stairs, then it's like, oh no,
No, that's hilarious.
That's funny.
If the animal does it to itself, it's funny. If it's something a person does to it, it's not funny. Like those goats that like passed out.
I'm just
that
saying,
makes me mad. But like
some
when it just
people,
happens on their own, that's
like
hilarious.
some people have more feelings for animals than they do humans. You know,
that's true.
Yeah. Then my daughter's that way with robots. So
okay. Okay.
I'm a doll. Well, I am wearing more than 33% soft goods right now, so I guess I am a doll.
I would say 99% of my clothing on a daily basis is soft goods. So
I will tell you that this Monstar is 0% soft goods. He is an action figure. So, and he's not Iron Man, Jesse.
I know he's not Iron Man.
He's going to be the leader of my Tusk pilots.
He's not going with your mythics?
He's going with my cosmics. And Quicksilver. Yeah.
Like from Avengers and X-Men?
Wrong Quicksilver. All right.
Speaking of cosmics, again, what are your thoughts on cosmics? We've just had the whole the Outpost Zaxius wave announced. That's up for pre-order. Are you in on those? I don't remember if we talked about cosmics when you were on last year or not, but
I have not gotten any cosmics. I haven't gotten in on them. Just the funds, they just happen at the wrong time. I think they're really cool, but I still want to get some. I just haven't gotten in on any of the pre-orders. So
okay.
So I have a feeling that this LegionsCon, because I think Wave 1 will definitely be out before LegionsCon.
Yes.
And I think Wave 2, from everything I've heard, is kind of right behind it. So I think there's even a chance that both the first two waves are out before LegionsCon. And Jeremy already said there's another big cosmic wave coming, right? Because this one was kind of like the little in-between wave, and there's another one coming. So I think that we could have one wave delivered, if not two waves delivered before LegionsCon, and another big wave solicited by LegionsCon. So I think LegionsCon this year is going to make a shift to where, even as last year, you started seeing some cosmic parts, but it was mostly mythics. I think this year it could get close to 50-50. So with that in mind, what kind of ideas, as kind of a Dio person, you've been doing a lot of, fountains and wells and stables, and what kind of cosmic ideas are rattling around in that creative brain of yours that you think you might bring this year?
That's it. It's still all on paper right now. I'm still trying to figure out some designs and whether to go like the junkyard look or like a smooth look, still trying to figure out design elements and how big to make them, keeping the same size, what shape to make the pool. Just kind of, I'm still trying to get ideas, and that only came up like a month ago.
Yeah,
I just kind of realized, oh crap, Cosmic is going to be at this year. So I'm trying to figure out that, on top of trying to figure out, trying to add in lighting and possibly smoke fog effects. So
maybe some like oil baths for robots and stuff like that.
Yeah, like if you figure out the right color combination for it, you could use this in like a forge setting, or even like a molten steel lava-y type, I'm not specifically thinking Star Wars, but something where they're like, pouring hot molten steel to make the droids or something. Yeah, there's a lot of fun colors you can play with in cosmics. Really wacky colors. Like you do some really cool stuff with like the toxic green and the blood and all that stuff. So
well, that'll be cool to see what you come up with and what everybody else comes up with too, because I'm sure by then we're going to have some new 3D parts, different heads, different weapons. I know when we had Detour on here, he was talking about some ideas he had for some cosmic type weapons. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more people's space kind of taken up with cosmic this year than what we did last year. So
there's definitely going to be a shift.
Yeah.
I think in everybody's stuff right now. I mean, it's obviously we don't have them in hand yet, but the shift is happening. I mean, people got their ideas down, I think, and it's just a matter of time before they're in our hands, and then the floodgates are going to open again,
right?
Just like Mythics did for me. Like,
well, I know a lot of people have kind of suspected that maybe this G-Con is going to be like Sons of the Red Star and House of the Noble Bear, but there's no guarantee, and they've not confirmed that. What do you guys think? Is there a possibility that G-Con could be a cosmic wave, or maybe a partial cosmic, partial mythic wave?
I don't see them splitting it personally. I see them doing one or the other. But yeah, it could totally be a cosmic wave. I think that would be the right timing for a big wave announcement to be cosmic, because it's a break between, we've got, we just did the Dark 4 the last 4 years. So letting cosmic have a spotlight for the G-Con, I could totally see that happening.
What do you think about having 2 G-Cons, one for cosmic and one for mythic?
I don't know that they would do 2 unless they were smaller waves. I don't know that they would do 2 at the same time, but yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if they did like a G-Con twice a year, did a cosmic G-Con and then a mythic one, maybe, split them up to where it's like halfway across the year, so maybe like one in like June or July and then the other one in November. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm with the people that want a Red Star and House of the Noble Bear wave. I think that would be really awesome. Having the barbarians and the outfit or the misfits.
Yeah, I think I have no problems with cosmics. I definitely will be getting some of them, but yeah, I mythics is always going to be where my love is for these, and always vote sword and sorcery before jetpacks and laser guns.
That was my thinking, but the more that I'm seeing cosmic, the more I'm shifting. Like especially all the Tusk, anything Tusk, I'm like, I need a bunch of them. Like to me, it's like we kind of talked about it, I think, a little bit on Friday, but it's like stormtroopers. It's like, you've got your biker scouts, you got your hooded ones on Hoth, you got your the ones with the black helmets that are flying in the TIE fighters and stuff. So it's like you got all these different kind of no-name characters that are the soldier types. To me, that's what the Tusk are, and I'm just like, I just want to army build the hell out of them. So like the name characters are really cool, and I like the named characters, but the Tusk are really doing it for me right now. So
I'm going to pull this up. Steve-O mentioned Space Dragon, and I can't remember if it was in one of on the show or somewhere else. I'm pretty sure you were there. We were talking about something, Chris, but I think I threw it out like no Space Dragon, but a Sphexian Queen. Like the alien, like a big bug instead of a dragon. I think because see, for me, the Sphexians are the one I want to army build as like the bigger that. Yeah. And yes, Danny, absolutely. More dark elves. 1 point and 2.0 scales, please.
Yeah.
Joe wants cosmic to stay in its lane. Okay, all right. I don't know. I'm just like, I was even looking at some of my mythic collection the other day and thinking to myself, I wouldn't mind getting rid of this, and like I'm looking at figures that I wouldn't mind selling in order to make room for more cosmic. So that's where it's gotten for me. Like it's serious cosmic vibes. So
all right. Well, if you get rid of any of your mythics, let me know.
Okay. All right, we'll do. I got a crap ton of figures in the garage too. Like I really need to I need to control how many figures I'm buying extra this year.
You're not gonna do 13 Sir Elijahs this year?
I did a lot of the Sir Elijahs, but that's because I really like army building the Templars too, because it's like, I don't know, I like those I mean, Sir Elijah obviously is a named character, but I like making just random Templars. You know, same way that I want to make a bunch of random Tusk characters. So I like army building those kind of figures. So I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, in your defense, the Templars are like the Tusks. They're like the Imperial Army. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. And then now I've really gotten into building this X-Men team that I'm working on. So that's kind of taking up some of my time. But what about you, Alexander? I mean, besides Mythics, is there anything else that you're collecting right now?
Not really. I mean, my son and I like the Build-A-Figures from McFarlane a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes all the characters from it, and I basically keep all the Build-A-Figure stuff. But I honestly, I don't remember the last Marvel Legends I bought. I don't remember the last Mastersverse figure I bought. Like it's mainly Mythics now. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got in to some of that the 5K toys stuff with the the Spring Assassin, and so I'm getting one of each of those.
Did you get the big the Taurens, the Z-ray or X-ray figures, the big giant Minotaurs?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I saw them. I think they're really cool.
They're pretty cool, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on them.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on those yet.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I honestly haven't really been buying a whole lot just because there's a whole bunch of Mythics on their way that I have a bunch of money tied up into.
Right.
So, my son's buying a lot of, or I'm buying my son a lot of Gremlin stuff right now. So,
cool. Oh, the NECA stuff.
Yeah, he's loving those. So.
My buddy, my coworker, he was giving me a hard time about Mythics because it's all repainted, reused parts and everything. He's just doing it to stir the pot or whatever. But he sent me a text at work. He's like, "Oh, I found another one of those. I forget which one. It was one of the 2-packs of the Gremlins." And he's like, "You know what? I just said I got that. That's the 4th one of those I got." I was like, "They're not even different parts. It's just 4 of the exact same set. So I think I need to back off making fun of you." I was like,
there you go.
I don't understand why people bitch about that so much. Like the reuse of parts and the repaint. It's like that's the whole reason why we have so many. It's because they can do that, and just with some paint applications, it makes it a whole new thing. Even though it's the exact same 2-inch part, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's amazing how.
And they do it in a way that it I think it works better because there's a lot. I mean, that's been like a toy line thing since the beginning of plastic toys is reuse of parts. Like G.I. Joe, the reason they got Snake Eyes, the reason he was like all black was because they didn't have to put any paint apps on him. It was a way to reduce the cost on him and letting some of the other costs go to the other figures or whatever. And, like they reused the Gamorrean Guard mold basically for the Friar Tuck and the Robin Hood line. And, it's always their thing, but and I'm not saying other companies don't do this, but I think the Horsemen do a good job with when they do reuse parts. They can put a different paint app on it and it can turn a metal piece, something that looks metal, they can make it look leather, if they use the right colors on it. They can change the way that texture feels. And I think that's a big benefit to, or positive on their side with stuff. As with Star Wars, how many times are they going to remake the same Boba Fett mold and just like paint it black, paint it white? It doesn't.
1 billion times.
It's just a different color. It doesn't feel any different,
Yeah.
But any idea what the hell Nate's talking about? I have no idea what that is. I tried looking it up and I got nothing.
Fog Toys Fantasy Alphabet Series. Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if he's trolling or what. I got nothing from that.
Is that like the oh my drawing a blank on the damn name now.
Joe says I'm all in on Cosmic, but Mythic is my baby. I hear that. And that is what I was thinking as I was buying the Cosmic, but I'm just, I don't know. Those Tusk are really pulling me in. So well, you were working on, you did a Castle Grayskull diorama, right? That you had at what was that at MuskeeCon?
Yep.
And did you end up selling that, or you still have that?
Not yet. I still have to get back to somebody that asked me about it.
Gotcha.
And I meant to do it that following Monday when he sent me that, and I just haven't. So if you're watching, I'm gonna get a hold of you, and I will. I promise I will.
Gotcha.
It most likely sold, but haven't made it final yet. So.
And you had a really cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, but you're keeping that one, right? That's for your son.
Yep. That's going with our Mythic Turtles.
Yep.
Did a lot of cool new paint apps on that, like with some glow in the dark, and slapped some black light paint on there. Got a couple of torches on there too. It looks really awesome.
I'm guessing you're going to get a few people that hit you up wanting one of those. And then you started doing the stables, which those looked phenomenal at MuskeeCon. So hopefully you got a few of those for LegionsCon, because I definitely need one of those.
That is.
Yeah. And then you started working on a Snake Mountain, right?
I did. I started it and didn't like where it was going, so I threw it out. Well, I didn't throw it out, but I decided to redesign the whole thing, and it's about double the size of what I initially had really thought. So and I still have. This one is gonna. I don't even know if I'll have it done before LegionsCon, because there's some stuff I want to do to it that I don't know if I can do to it. I just have to figure it out. So.
Gotcha. But you do have a table at LegionsCon, and people can expect to see a bunch of stuff from you, I guess.
Yep. Cool. I do, and I'm excited for it. This is like the new thing I have to like be at now every year. So
yeah,
you were at. I don't know if I just spaced out when I was trying to search for that thing. You were at MuskeeCon, right?
Yeah, right across from Eric Miller and Curtis and Steven.
Yeah, and, that moment where, you know, with Eric and your son kind of sharing their turtles and taking a picture together, that was really cool.
Yeah, that made his like year, I swear.
Oh yeah,
he talked about it the next day. I was like, oh, God. And he still talks about it.
I even saw when you had posted the picture, like some people were thinking that, you know, and this is no shot against Eric's work, because Eric's work is phenomenal, but some people liked your son's actually better than Eric's, which is really cool. You know, because obviously we all have different tastes and stuff, but your son did an amazing job, and you know, obviously to have, you know, that next to Eric's, which are kind of iconic as well, that was just really cool.
Yep. Hopefully, I'm planning on bringing those to LegionsCon to kind of show off the turtle fountain too. So, but
cool.
That'll be interesting to see what people think of those when they see them up close.
Awesome.
Danny says half of his cosmic will become mythics, the rest will be space bikers, space cowboys, space knights, and space accountants.
I don't know if you can call them space knights legally. Pretty sure Marvel has a trademark on that. I'm just being a butt. I'm just making.
I would love to see a Sphexian space accountant in like a suit and tie. Yeah. Pocket protector,
in my mind,
calculator, and
he's just Milton, but with a bug head from the Office Space.
Yes, yeah. One of his little hands is holding a stapler,
a little red stapler. Oh man, that just keeps coming up all week.
I know.
It's such a funny movie.
It's a great one.
I was over at my dad's house today for Easter, and he had on McHale's Navy, like the one with Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so painful to watch. Like, I think I saw it when it came out.
I got you beat.
I didn't know there's a lot of work, but I'm like, man, I feel like this movie wasn't that long ago. Like, were these is this what comedies were like?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you beat because we went over to my parents with the kids, and my dad put on All in the Family, and like it's the episode where the Jeffersons move in across the street, and so Archie's being typical racist Archie himself, and my dad is just dying laughing, and everybody else in the room is like stone faced, like this is not funny. And he's like, no, it's funny because he's an idiot and he's racist and he needs, and we're like, yeah, this did not age well, and you need to not watch this in front of people. So,
yeah,
it was pretty bad. So
my dad they had that on for a second, and my stepmom just gets into this whole thing talking about, she's like, do you like play, have you played that? I was like, yeah, like at cookouts or whatever. And I was like, why are we talking about cornhole? I look up on the TV and there's guys with like 50 sponsors all over their shirts already. I'm like, when did this become a thing? Like, no,
a couple years ago I did that.
Like,
man, they make everything like a job now. Like, you got those professional slap guys that just like slap each other until you can't stand anymore.
Oh, those are great. Like, I haven't seen the guy ones. I've seen the ladies slap. Like, I don't know why that's what I saw.
Instagram is weird.
I'm just sitting there, first person thing.
I'm sitting there watching that, and like I shouldn't watch it, but I can't not watch it whenever it comes across like my feed and stuff. It's like, have you guys never heard of like concussion syndrome or anything? Like, and you're just sitting there and just putting your face out there and letting somebody just haul off as hard as they can. And I'm like, you're going to be like brain dead by the time you're in your 30s.
Well, and it's so official. You've got the judge there, you've got stands and everything. Like, I've seen the ones with some of the ladies, and just, it's not that I like seeing people get hurt, but it reminds me of like when people go on like the amusement park rides and they're like all talking crap, and then it like launches them up and they like immediately like pass out.
Yeah.
It's like that. But like, I've seen one where like this, the hand comes up, slaps the other girl, and the other girl like just drops and is just like, has no idea that like what just happened to them. It's like they just spawned in the room. Like, why am I in pain? It's just,
I don't know why anybody would put themselves through that, but
hey, if there's money in it, people will do anything.
I guess.
Some people like watching the Star Wars holiday special, but
I've never seen it. I've heard bad things, but I've never actually seen it. Is it as bad as people say?
I watched it once, and the only way I got through it was because I was watching it with friends with like the riff track. It was like the riff tracks version where they're Mystery Science Theatering the whole thing.
Gotcha.
It's, for the time, it was the only new Star Wars they had before Empire came out, I guess. But yeah, it's just weird. Like, the grandpa Wookiee puts on like a 3D visor and he's watching this, but it's like, it's borderline softcore porn, because it's like this woman like wiggling and dancing, and then like B. Arthur is singing a song in the cantina. Like, is it
like a movie with a plot, or is it like a variety show?
It's like a variety. It's like little segments. Okay. Like, there's like an overarching thing through the episode, but that's where like the Boba Fett animated came from. That was like the first time people really saw Boba Fett, I think. Or was that after? I don't remember where it came out, but
I don't remember.
But yeah, I watched it a couple years ago. It is, But like Star is saying here, everybody was consumed with Star Wars, and when there was nothing else to come out, Disney Plus wasn't a thing. They hadn't even gotten all 3 movies out yet.
And he says, "I will die of cringe poisoning," and that the Osmonds are in it. You didn't tell me the Osmonds were in it. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I forgot that. Like, it's like there's like Chewie. I think it's supposed to be Chewie's son. His name is like Stumpy or Gimpy, or he's got some weird name. He's horrifying. Like, Chewbacca looks like the mask, everything made Chewbacca looks like is good. Like, it looks like a real animal, even though it's a person in there, right? The ones they did in this show, like, clearly they didn't have the budget for, or maybe they thought they had a new technique or something, but those the little kid, the little baby Wookiee, like I hope they retcon Chewbacca's family out of existence just because that child was so frightening looking.
It looked like the Easter Bunny from like the 1940s.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm talking about this.
That's funny.
I can pull it up.
Well, I got to watch a little bit of Empire while, like, my dad kept going outside and coming back in, and then he would flip the channel. He would turn on the golf, or then he, put on that All in the Family. But I did get to catch a little bit of Empire, and man, I love Empire. I tell you what, that movie is so freaking good. It is, man. Like, I want to this week sometime just sit down and watch the whole thing because it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I like the star.
And his name, it's Lumpy.
Yeah.
Lumpawaru.
Oh,
and
man.
his short name was Lumpy. Yeah, it's
that looks about as bad as the old Godzilla movies where they had like Godzilla's kid. You ever see those? He's like, this little guy. Like, that was pretty rough as well. But oh man,
yes, yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, what were you saying you were looking forward to, Curtis?
Just watching Empire. I just love
Oh,
Empire.
Okay. I had
I caught a little bit today, and I need to sit down and watch the whole thing again because it's been a while since I've seen it. And
yeah. It was fire.
Then
you see what a naked burnt Wookiee looks like. No one wants that.
No. Oh man, the smell. Like
the one part that I did catch today that had me fucking rolling was when Vader's talking about the one general and he says that he's as clumsy as he is stupid. I was just dying, man. He's as clumsy as he is stupid.
So Star Wars. We all like Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. And I'm not going to get on a high horse here, but like everybody, like, we were talking about this on Friday night, how, when we were in our 20s and the sequel or the prequels came out, they didn't land for us, but like the kids liked them that were kids then.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying like I think you said your son, that's his Star Wars and all this stuff. But like, I was actually watching A New Hope this afternoon. Well, I put it on, took a nap, woke up for basically the last, the Death Star battle.
Yep.
Darth Vader basically gets like ping-ponged out of the trench by the Millennium Falcon, and he runs away. Like, I know Vader's badass, all this stuff, but like he gets shot out of the trench. Right? It spins, but while like Vader and them or Han and the guys are heading back to Yavin, Vader just like tucks tail and run. And it's like I feel like today Vader would have like.
After the Death Star has been blown up?
Yeah.
Well, what's he going to do? Like, he's going to take on all the rebels by himself?
Yeah. Because he's Darth Vader, right? I'm nitpicking. I'm just saying there are things we can pick apart from the original trilogy if we really want to.
He's not stupid, though. He's not going to just go suicide himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a chance of him beating them, but he's just going to take on all of the rebels by himself. I think
30 rebel ships attacked the Death Star, and 4 made it back. 4 in the Falcon are seen flying back at the end. Like he could have like all their fighter squadrons got taken out.
So you think he could have done a little bit more damage before bugging out?
Yeah,
maybe he didn't know how big of.
I'll do what I normally do to convince myself because I'm just playing devil's advocate with this. He is he's just thrown off by the fact that he just killed Obi-Wan, and he's probably feeling something in the Force about Luke that's throwing him off. So like I said, like I can justify just about anything. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
At that point in New Hope, are we pretty sure that he still believes that his kids are both dead? Or that there that Padme died and the kids weren't born or whatever. I know that's what he's told at the end of the third movie by the Emperor, but do we believe that he thinks that all the way up till A New Hope?
I'm trying. I know they've been doing some stuff in the comics, like when Marvel brought the comics back like 7-8 years ago, or when they got the rights back, they started doing like the new official in between stuff.
Right.
I feel like he had a suspicion he had a child, because like it does some of the comics, it shows him like meeting one of Padme's handmaidens, like in between Empire and Jedi, and like there's this whole like group of people. I think they called themselves the Amidala's. They were like trying to bring down the person who killed Padme because they were so dedicated to her.
Yeah.
And I think he knows something, and he finds the place where the babies were born, so he knows at least one of them was born, I think. Yeah.
I just obviously don't want to nitpick this amazing universe that they built and stuff like that, but it's like you're trying to hide these kids, and I think they did a pretty good job with Leia. They send her off and she's living with these politicians and this and that. But they take Luke and they give him the Skywalker name and they send him to live with his aunt and uncle on the same planet that Anakin was on. They didn't really hide him very well.
He knew exactly where they were.
Like if you're Darth Vader, I'm just thinking at some point you may have checked in on your family or something and just been like, hey, what's up?
But
who's this kid?
I don't think he really considered them family.
I don't know. I just don't think that was I don't know. I don't think they thought that out real well.
No, they 100% didn't, because I don't think that was ever his original plan. I don't think Luke being Vader's child was the original plan when he originally wrote the script.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because none of that makes sense. They just happen to be chasing his sister over the planet where he is, where Anakin grew up, and like
it's very coincidental.
It's
unless the Force somehow brought them together. Somehow, some way. I don't know. I just
it's a magical answer to everything, really.
Well, and then in the Kenobi series, I didn't really feel like they addressed too much of that. Like, you're protecting Leia and you're hiding her identity, but Luke's just, he's a Skywalker, and like you didn't even, give him a different name or anything.
Because like Luke Lars doesn't really roll off the tongue.
If it protects him, I don't know.
No, because originally his name was even Starkiller, but then he's like, well, that can't be the name for a hero. That's too violent. So it became Skywalker instead. And Luke was originally a girl. So the original concept. Just the original concept was there was the old Jedi Master type character that Obi-Wan was.
Yeah.
There was the pilot Han, and the Luke was actually a female.
All right. Anyway, Empire.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
You should make like a planet themed fountains. Like a Dagobah one that's like all swampy. Get a Hoth one that's just like frozen. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I
need some more ideas. Come on, keep them coming.
A Tatooine one that's just like a sand pit.
It's
just like a dollhouse size sandbox.
Are you watching? You're watching Mando, Alexander?
Yes.
What are your thoughts so far this season?
I had this discussion with my cousin last week or so. This season feels more like a RPG that you have to go on many side quests before you get to your actual quest.
Mm-hmm.
And the last episode especially, I'm like, I could give two craps about the two guest stars. I mean, they are what they are, but I'm like, at least give me something. And at least this last episode gave us a payoff with Bo-Katan.
Gotcha.
I feel anyway, like it's progressing the story. Whereas
I'm amazed at how much we are getting from a TV series, like in terms of the effects, the characters, like seeing battle droids and things like that. Like I would not have initially, when they were talking about doing a Disney Plus series, thought that we're going to get space battles, a big giant Mandalorian fight, battle droids. Like there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm like, man, they're spending some money. I don't know what their budget is per episode, but they're dropping some bucks for sure to make a good show.
I'm not going to try to argue to tell anybody they're wrong or right for liking or disliking something. But I feel like that side quest thing in between, I feel like that's always been the flavor of Mando since the beginning. Some of those feel a little more obvious in the season, but I like it because I feel like the side quests all are kind of building a theme. Because if you go back and look at a lot of them, are dealing with like indoctrination and people coming to terms with forgiving the past and trying to grow. Because you got these people who were formerly Empire, and Jack Black's his character was trying to be reformed, and they're trying to do this new thing on this planet. And then there's someone who's even further back from the Empire, trying to it's all these things, and that's like following along with the Bo-Katan and the Din Djarin story with the Mandalorians, and with the Watch, the group he's with, and how they're people, because like there's this whole thing. Like, I don't think it's just, I think there's a bigger plot they're not pushing, but like building to, because the whole thing with like Bo's sister being the Duchess and in charge of Mandalore, when she was trying to transition them into like a peaceful planet, that's what created the Death Watch. Was they were like, no, we need to take back our warrior roots, and that's where the group that Din is part of came from. So I just think there's interesting things going there. When we get to the end of the season, it'll be a little more obvious, because like I know I said this on Friday night, but like Dave Filoni, I'm not saying he's a saint and he can't do anything wrong, but he knows how to build the story. And like the little, like everybody disliked Ahsoka at first because she was just kind of obnoxious and annoying, and so many people have grown to love her as some of their favorite characters. Not everybody, but a lot of people have.
Well, I think, you mentioned the side quest, like that's been pretty much a part of all of Star Wars since the beginning. I mean, you got Luke going to Dagobah, and then you've got, with Obi-Wan going and discovering like the whole clone, the clones being made. And, there's always these like little kind of side things that build towards the larger story. So that's kind of been a thing within the movies, throughout. So I don't know that that's unique. I did feel like the first episode of this season was a little bit more of that. Like it was just kind of, we're going to go here, then we're going there, then we're going here, and we end up the same place we started.
Well,
but since then, I feel like episodes 2 through 6, there's been a lot more story progression.
Episode 1 and 2 should have been released at the same time.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Because if you end up with where you're at in 2, I think that initial first impression of this season would have been much different. But I like what they're doing with Bo-Katan and kind of bringing the different tribes or different versions of the Mandalorians together and trying to link them. So I think I'm really enjoying it. I'm interested to see where it's going. So,
and I didn't mean to say that came off the way it did. Like
no.
I'm loving it. Don't get me wrong. It's just this season there seems to be more. I don't know, I've noticed it more, I guess, of the side quest missions or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're a little more obvious this season, and I mean there've been cameos through the whole show, because you had what's his name was voicing Queel in the first series, even though he was a returning character.
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte. Taika Waititi did a voice. You know, everybody's I've seen people online complaining about Lizzo and Jack Black. Didn't bother me. The one that, I think I said this on Friday Night 2, Curtis, the one that bumped me out of the show for a hot minute was Bill Burr. Like,
really?
I don't dislike Bill Burr, but seeing Bill Burr in Star Wars, pretty much just in like that threw me off. Like, I didn't dislike. I like the character, especially like what they did with him. Again, because they built the story even across the 2 or 3 episodes he's in between the seasons. But
I think he's very recognizable. So when you first see him, it's like, what the fuck's Bill Burr doing here? You know, so
and
it would have been different if they had him in some makeup or had him as a alien or with a helmet on or something. But just seeing him as Bill Burr, you're like, what the hell is this? But then I think his performance, I think he killed it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Just seeing him pop up, you're just like, oh,
it's like Bill Burr in a bit of a tactical outfit, you know, whereas Jack Black, he's in this weird, you know, he's wearing this like, you know, Sergeant Pepper looking outfit with like his big beard and his bouffant hair and everything. I'm like, all right, he's a character. Like they feel unique. I don't want to spend an entire series or movie with those characters, but but that's me. Everybody's got different things that throws them out of stuff, and
What are you guys' thoughts on Ahsoka?
I'm super stoked.
I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm excited to see it. So
to see that the ghost, like
the
crew, that's going to be amazing.
And just the fact that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera, and you know, I always forget that she's married to Ewan McGregor. So like, it's just like it's just a fun thing. And their daughter was in an episode of Obi-Wan. I just think that stuff's cool outside of the fact, but getting to see Hera and Chopper in live action and Sabine, I think is going to be really cool. The only part of it that makes me sad is we're not going to, unless they do some sort of flashback, we're not going to see, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched Rebels, we're not going to see Kanan.
Which that could very well happen. I mean, especially because Ezra's in it too.
Yeah. And I mean, there's definitely stuff with like the world between worlds, and like one of the things that this series is making me nervous about is the fact that they are introducing like the time travel aspect a little bit, or I don't think it's going to be like Endgame where it's fully, but they did it in Rebels a little bit, but that's a really tricky thing to do right and land. So, Zeb was in Mando a couple weeks ago. I thought that was really cool.
That was amazing.
I don't know who that is.
He was the big alien that was talking to the X-Wing pilot at the.
I don't know who Zeb is what I'm saying.
I'm saying he was the big alien that was talking to the pilot on the like kind of like the Vietnam bar that all the X-Wing pilot guys were hanging out when he.
Right, but is he like a person, a famous person or something?
He's essentially
the ghost ship in Rebels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
His character was based on the original concept art of Chewbacca, where he's got more of like that baddie, you know, with the big ears and the flat nose and everything.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with Ahsoka. I don't know where they're going with it, so I'm just gonna kind of go for the ride. As long as it's not as slow and boring as Andor, I think we'll be good. But
what's wrong with Andor?
I just got to throw that out there to upset Nate and a little bit Jesse. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just slow. So
it was a little slow.
It wasn't as much for my taste. So
that's one thing I really liked about it, I guess, was because it was a different side of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's nice about all these shows, is that they can show that side.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of like when the MCU started doing different types of movies. And so then it's like, okay, Winter Soldier has kind of like a spy thriller kind of, feel to it. And, there's other movies that kind of feel more like a comedy, and other movies that feel more like an action movie, and so it's you kind of get these different feels for that. So yeah, Andor gave us something that we haven't seen before, which was kind of more of some of this backstory of the the other people that are there, but you don't really learn about throughout the movies and stuff. So that was cool. It's just to me, it was just so slow that I just found myself getting bored at times. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that I watched it.
Yeah.
But I think it has, for me, zero rewatchability. So, but that's just me.
That's fair. I mean, different flavors for everything. Like, without getting into,
let me ask you, Jesse, because I know you liked Andor. Have you gone back and rewatched any of it since it's finished?
I have not rewatched it, but I also haven't rewatched Obi-Wan. Yeah, it's a couple of years ago I would have, but with customizing and all this stuff now, I'm not spending a lot of time rewatching stuff
Gotcha.
unless I'm putting it on to take a nap or something. So
yeah,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I will rewatch it. I just haven't.
Because with the first 2 seasons of Mando, I've gone back and rewatched both of those first 2 seasons a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I would not do that with and even Kenobi. I went back. I didn't watch the whole season again, but I watched certain parts of it a second time. That I wanted to see. So
I'll take that back. I did rewatch Kenobi in the way that I don't remember if I was watching the full episodes or just recap episodes, but there were a couple YouTubers that I was watching do like reaction, and I came across them after quarantine a couple years ago. That it was just like a fun way to kind of feel like I was watching a show or a movie with a new friend that had never watched them before.
Gotcha.
And so I have rewatched some stuff that way, but yeah, not Andor.
Cool.
Star asked a question about the bounty hunter showing up in Mandalorian. Other than Boba Fett, I don't think we've seen Dengar, Bosk, for LOM or Zuckuss in anything post Empire. Well, I mean, they're in some of the comics, but like as far as like on screen stuff, I don't think we've seen.
We saw the dude in Book of Boba. The blue guy? Yes, he was awesome.
But he wasn't in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, gotcha.
The question was specifically,
I didn't know he was talking about Empire bounty hunters. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Gans are cool. I love the whole story, how people are so worked up. Trevor coming in.
He must have got a message from Nate. Trevor, you need to get in here. Curtis is talking shit about Andor.
The whole mix-up with Zuckuss and 4LOM being swapped on the cards, the original toy cards back in the 80s or 70, whenever the toys came out, they had their names flip-flopped. So there's a whole bunch of people that to them, the wrong names are the correct names.
Gotcha.
So they Hasbro, which I got to give Hasbro credit for this. I know we don't always give them the credit they do deserve, but they did do a special edition re-release of those on the vintage cards last year. I think it was last year, where they had them with the flip-flopped cards, like the original toys, which I thought was cool. And I think they also came with separate card backs that had the correct name, and the correct picture as well, which I don't know how you swap those out, but I thought that was really cool that they, I liked that they did that.
That's cool. So what else you've been doing, Alexander? Any other shows that you're watching or movies or anything that you've been enjoying?
We just started watching Letterkenny.
Okay.
Oh
Good show.
God. I was rolling within the first 5 minutes of watching the first episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm hooked. Like,
Pitter patter.
it's ridiculous. Let's get
yeah.
on.
That first episode when the two young guys pull up and they're just like ripping on him for like 5 minutes, like that's it's a good way to draw you in on that first episode for sure.
Yeah. That's pretty much the only new thing that we're watching, like that we picked up. Watching Mandalorian. I'm watching The Bad Batch season 2, which I'm really liking a lot. That's about it. We've been rewatching the Harry Potter movies because we've been
Okay.
playing Hogwarts Legacy. We're all kind of in that mode. We watched Dungeons and Dragons last week.
What were your thoughts on that?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very fun. I have not seen the 2000.
You're not missing anything.
I am not. I know. The funny thing is, we saw that that Thursday, and then we came home. My son's talking to me about it, and I was like, "Well, there's another movie. Maybe we can watch that, later on tonight or whatever." We pulled the trailer up, and my son is 10.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "This looks really bad, Dad." I'm like, yeah, I agree, bud. We're not gonna watch this.
You want to watch a movie with dragons in it from the 90s? Watch Dragonheart. Just the first one over.
Reign of Fire is another good one.
Yeah, Reign of Fire is great from like, was that 2002 or something? I saw this post of artwork the other day where someone's doing like monsters from movies. Mm-hmm. From like the first 5 years of the 2000s, and there was this giant massive dragon. I'm like, what is that movie? I recognize that, but I'm like, what came out in 2002? And I was like, oh, Reign of Fire. And yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to insult the old one because I did some research into it after. Well, I looked a couple things up afterwards. Like the guy who directed it is not a director. He just wanted to see it happen, and there was no, it wasn't the fairy tale movie that Star Wars was, as far as getting the right people behind it. But there's a certain amount of train wreck watching fun to it. And just watching Jeremy Irons like overact his ass off in that movie is fantastic. He literally wears the same outfit. I mean, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy in the beginning of the movie because he's literally in a dungeon with a dragon. But like his outfit just changes when he's being the bad guy. It's like black and dark colored. When he's good, it's like white and gold. Like when he's trying to play to the people that he's not a bad guy. And it's just like, they just made the exact outfit twice and then dipped it in like black dye or something. But yeah, his overacting performance in that, to the limited funds, non-studio backed special effects but there's some fun Easter eggs in it, like not Easter eggs, but there's a beholder in it. I don't understand why the beholders are in it doing what they do, because they're just kind of like patrolling this like castle in broad daylight. But
let me ask you guys this: did you guys watch the Dungeons and Dragons Hasbro live stream?
Mm-mm.
I don't watch Hasbro live streams anymore.
Well, I watch them on the replays.
Okay.
And I skip over the stupid shit that's in it. But the beasts that are coming out for I think it's the Legacy line. I think that's what it's called, or something like that.
Yeah.
The two owlbears, the beholder, and the Displacer beast. I am all in on all four of them. Those things look amazing.
I think there's well, I guess there's three owl. There's the one from the movie, the snow owl. There's a brown one and a gold one. I guess are the ones they announced. I think one of them is a GameStop exclusive, which
I haven't heard about the gold one, but there's a brown one.
Same figure that it's got just more of a golden face to it.
Well, the face is a different sculpt than the snow bear.
Yes, yeah. I think the golden and the brown one are the same. Okay, it's just slightly different coloring. Yeah. But yeah, the beholder and the Displacer beast look fantastic.
And I thought the Displacer beast was just the Guinevere figure that they put out, but no, this thing's it's like 12 inches long.
Yeah,
it's big and it looks amazing. It's got 6 legs. The tentacles are bendy. I'm in. It looks amazing.
Yeah, the only one I saw was the beholder one, and it looked pretty badass. Like
it's got.
I've never played D&D, and I have no frame of reference, but it looked really cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean it's big. It's got like a movable eye, like the eyeball moves around in the socket. Yeah. The mouth opens. The eye stalks are posable. And I like that they made it a character one. It's not just a random.
Yeah.
It's Xanathar, who's
It's not a Legion Builder beholder.
Yeah, I'm sure people can paint it up, but it's meant to be a character one.
Yep. Gotcha.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that movie last weekend as well. And we were talking about how Marvel did like different flavors. I feel like Marvel has, as much as I love that stuff, they've backed away from like the different genre-y feels, and they all kind of feel the same to an extent. Like
Lately, they have, yeah.
lately. But I think with D&D, with the way that movie worked out, I think you could do a horror movie. You could do, you could do more like comedy heist crew movies and get away with it. You could do a big epic war movie, like Lord of the Rings or something. But yeah, I think there's a lot of room in the D&D world, even just that one reality of it in the Forgotten Realms, the Faerun world of it all that they could do. Yeah.
That's cool. I also started watching Norseman on Netflix.
Yes.
And
is that the funny one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've watched like the first like few episodes of that.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying that.
The king on the log taking a dump.
Because I just got done watching Vikings Valhalla, and then I watched the Viking series, then I watched Last Kingdom, so I was in a total Viking kind of mood, and then I started watching that, and it's just making fun of all of those basically, and I love Orm. Like, he's just so stupid, and like I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, I should be rooting against this guy, but for some reason, I just wanted to succeed.
He's kind of like if Michael Scott was like a Viking.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's how he always like, oh, that's a thing people say. Like, really, who says that?
I started saying this recently.
I just started saying it.
Yeah.
It's like I keep waiting for them to like turn and talk to the camera, like it just it was such a fun show to stumble on.
And then just like some of the stuff with Rufus and like not understanding what it's like to be a slave, and like the slaves explaining like, and then they did the one scene, I think it's in the second season, they do a scene where they're pushing the thing just like Arnold is at the beginning of Conan, but it's actually not hooked up to anything. So they're just pushing it for no reason. It's serving no purpose.
Didn't they save the one guy from like, he was gonna like jump off the cliff, and then they tell him not to or something, and like he's still alive, or they freed him or something.
They like were taking all the old men up to the cliff, and like, because they didn't want to pay for them anymore. And so the first guy jumps and splatters on the rocks, and the rest of them are like, nah, we're not gonna go. Like, we'll just go to another town and okay. It's pretty funny. So
yeah. Oh, good times.
So I've been enjoying that, and then just caught up on Ted Lasso.
That's something I've not watched yet.
Oh,
it's so good.
It's really good TV. I'm not sure what they're gonna do this season. The whole him and Nate thing, I'm not sure, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching it. So
yeah, this last, without spoiling anything, I really liked how they kind of didn't change the perspective, but gave us a little bit of a different perspective on that than what we'd gotten to this point. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
Yeah, you can kind of see Nate wavering a little bit. Like, maybe he's not completely a bastard at this point. So.
Yeah, like he didn't just turn into Darth Vader. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll move on since you don't know what we're talking about. If
you're fine.
You don't even have to like soccer to enjoy this show. Like, it's
that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I hate soccer, but I love the show. So and it's I love Ted. He's like the best part to watch for, because he's just a good-hearted guy. Like, he's like the nicest guy you'd ever imagine meeting in the world. But the other characters are great as well. Like, they develop characters in that show so great. Like, yeah.
Well, I love. There's
highly recommend, Alexander. Recommend.
Oh, what's his name? I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy that plays Roy. So Roy is kind of like the seasoned older vet of the team. He's just this like really stoic, like
guy. Yeah.
hard dude, you know. I saw a clip the other day. He was on Sesame Street and like he gets into like a grunt off with Oscar the Grouch.
That's great.
And he's like, he comes up to Oscar. He's like, hey, it's just like Roy. He's like, hey, you want to play this board game? Oscar's like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, And it's just, it's like, fair enough. And storms off. Like it's not a character that belongs on a kid's show, but him just doing that bit like that was great.
And apparently he's going to be Hercules. So
yeah,
what?
he was Hercules at the end of Love and Thunder.
Yep.
The guy that shows up at the end, that's the guy who plays this Roy character on Ted Lasso.
Gotcha.
And one of the other players on the team is in the end of Venom. He's the bartender. Or not Venom. Danny. Football is life. He's the bartender when in Spider-Man when
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Eddie's there talking to the bartender and then he disappears.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's Danny.
I didn't catch that. Nice.
Yeah. Roy is the best. He's
well, he's here. He's there. He's every effing where.
You edit yourself on that one.
Yeah, sometimes I can't catch myself in time. Let's see. Danny says Xanathar is head of the Thieves Guild. I don't know who
Xanathar is the beholder. He's the action figure.
Oh, gotcha.
So he's like,
well, I like him.
Yeah,
I like a good Thieves Guild.
So he'd be Gambit's boss.
Hey, nice. That works.
Yeah. Speaking of upcoming movies, it's not out yet, but are you guys excited for Guardians 3?
Yeah.
I'm prepared to cry.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying not to watch a lot. I've seen both the previews and I saw someone with I won't say anything, but yeah, I know they freaking made me cry during Peacemaker. So yeah, and I don't care about that character, so I can't imagine what this movie is going to do.
I just I'm trying to think on one. I don't think I got that emotional on one, but two, the whole Yondu funeral, man, that's like, to me, that's the saddest, sad, happy kind of moment of the MCU. Like that's the most, I would say I'm more emotional watching that Yondu funeral than anything else the MCU has given us at this point. Yeah. And, it's like, we've had some pretty big characters die. Like Iron Man dies, I got nothing. Like it doesn't pull up my heartstrings. I don't.
Wait, what?
Like when Iron Man dies, nothing. I got zero. Black Widow dies, nothing. But Yondu's funeral, like that whole scene, and just everybody showing up and getting excited. Like that gets me every effing time. Yeah, man, I lose it. And then even just the song playing, like as soon as the song starts playing, like I'm like it. Yeah.
Yep. It's the song that put me over to have some water, a little bit of waterworks.
Yeah.
Which song do they play?
It's the
Cat Stevens.
Yeah, but it's
oh yeah. I remember because it's when Peter's got like little Groot sitting next to him and stuff, right? Yeah.
And it starts a little bit even before that with the whole, I was your daddy kind of thing, So like it kind of gets it going. Like it's like, just kind of a little turn on the faucet. And then, Well,
and I love that they go back and explore that because I didn't get the feeling of that bond with them as much in the first movie, but the way they played it in the second movie, I thought was
towards
great.
the end when he opens up the troll doll at the end of the first movie, you get it. Yeah.
But then the way they did it with the holiday special, I thought really brought it back around because you see the flashback to like younger Peter and him, and I really liked that, seeing that dynamic with them, that there was that kind of bond in the past, not just can't tell me that just because you made him not eat me that's not a thing people are supposed to do.
Yeah.
That holiday special was amazing too.
The which one?
The Guardians holiday
Oh,
special.
Yeah.
Superb.
Star is talking about what is that, Civil War with Tony's parents. I don't know if I teared up during that, but that's definitely like
I could see why it would.
Yeah, like the betrayal that Tony feels towards Cap at that moment. It's like it's even more so than Bucky killing his parents, because it's I think he kind of gets like Bucky was being mind controlled. He didn't, but at that point I think he's more upset about Cap lying to him or not being honest with him.
Well, because because Cap is such the stand-up, straight arrow guy, and that's not that he's perfect as a person, but like that, that was one of his flaws, was he knew this, and I was like, when did he know this? And then I realized after the movies came out a couple years later, it was during Winter Soldier. He sees that when they're in the Hydra base, when Arnim Zola comes on, like that's when he knew about it. But it also means Black Widow knew about it.
I didn't catch that. So you're saying there was something within that scene that tells him?
I don't think they flat out said that they knew Winter Soldier killed. They might have, because I think they were looking stuff up on the Winter Soldier, and there's something about the Tony's parents in there. So I think it's one of those not outright obvious, hey, this is when it happened, but that's after you watch that you can look back, and that's where he would have learned about that.
Yeah, it was like it was kind of like a read between the lines type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I would have to think that Nick Fury knew,
Oh yeah.
And he didn't tell anything. He didn't say anything to Tony. But, it's one of those where they're probably doing, for his own good or whatever, like trying to protect him from that hurt. But I don't know. Every time that they do that in movies, though, it always comes back to bite them. Like, yeah, I think,
or it's honestly,
I think you're better off being honest and let them deal with the pain rather than keeping it from them and letting them find out. And then,
Yeah. Well, it's like that trope where like anybody's having a conversation, this is a conversation that you need to have. And the only reason it's not working in the time that it would happen in the real world is because it's a show. So like, a couple are having a fight and, they need to talk, and like the guy's phone goes off and he's a doctor, or she's a doctor, he's a cop or whatever. And they like roll their eyes because they answer the phone. It's like, he's a doctor. Like, it's not that your relationship is poor. Like, it's probably the office calling in to come like save somebody, or, they're a cop, or, I hate that trope in movies and shows because it's like, or the thing where they just don't tell someone something important. It's like, you could have just said your thing there and then half of the movie wouldn't have happened, which, but yeah,
just talk to one another, be honest. Yeah, there was my grandma lived in a really small town, like probably less than 1,000 people, and there was this kid that was, I think he lived like a couple doors down, and he would come over and visit and hang out with her every now and then, like, see if she needed stuff. He was a good kid, but his mom got pregnant really young age while she was still in high school, I think. And she couldn't take care of him. And she was kind of messed up with some other stuff going on. So her parents raised the kid, and they raised the kid as if it was their kid. So as he's growing up, he thinks that his mom is really his sister, right? But everybody else in the town knows that it's his mom. And this kid, like, I think he was probably in his teens before he found out, but everybody else, including the other kids he went to school with and stuff, knew that the lady that he thinks is his sister is actually his mom. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, because I can only imagine when he found out, like, you would feel like you're this joke to the whole town. Like, everybody knew but me. And I don't know how it went, but I always just thought, why don't they just be honest with this kid? Like, this seems so terrible, but yeah. Anyway, Sorry to get uber serious there, but I just, it's one of those things that happens a lot in movies though too, where it's just like, just talk to one another and be honest, and it'll make everything go so much smoother.
Yeah, you could let us deal with like the rest of the plot of the movie instead of whatever this hang up is.
Right.
Like if it's a drama or something like that, it makes sense that someone might be closed off and not share things. But like when that's not the point of the movie, like don't make it the point of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on Phase 5 of the MCU right now? I know we're pretty new into it right now, but what are you guys' thoughts?
We haven't had anything yet, right?
Well,
or was
Ant-Man was like
Ant-Man was the first thing. Yeah. If we're going by Ant-Man, I would say I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't think it fixed everything that went wrong in Phase 4. But I at least like the direction that they're going. If we don't get at least an idea or some sort of introduction, even if you don't see it full-fledged, to mutants and the X-Men in Phase 5, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm so like, they've been teasing this whole multiverse thing for the longest time now. You did the WandaVision, thought it was getting, that was kind of, people were talking that was going to be the whole multiversal thing. And then they brought in the Quicksilver, but it wasn't really Quicksilver. And then they did the Loki thing, and that was going to bring the whole multiverse about. And then you did the Multiverse of Madness, and it's like, oh shit, here's where we're, stuff's really getting real. Still no. And, then they do the Spider-Man movie, and it's like, okay, now we got the multiple Spider-Man. Like they keep teasing this stuff, and I just want, even if you don't give me a full X-Men movie, at least show me that they're in this universe, that they're here, that you have a game plan, that you have some casting. Like, because I'll be honest, I barely cared about the original Avengers. Like, I grew to like them in Phase 1, 2, and 3. But before that, I didn't give a shit about Iron Man as a comic book character. I didn't give a shit about Captain America or Thor. But I love the X-Men. And to me, after Spider-Man, X-Men is what Marvel's about. Yeah. So
I agree.
If you're not going to give me X-Men in Phase 5, like, just let me know so I can just not even freaking watch it, because that's what I
don't think you need to watch it.
Yeah. I at least need to know that they're there. That
they have, I know you didn't care for it, but in Ms. Marvel, obviously they reveal that she's a mutant in that show, which is different from her thing. Because I think they did that to A, start introducing the mutants, and B, step back from the Inhuman show that I feel like
that. I get that. But you're not going to introduce a, let's say, 12-year-old Wolverine, right? You're not going to do that. So when
because
you
he's already a full-grown man. Because
so where's he been? What's he been doing?
He's getting into bar fights. Because in She-Hulk, there's a clip of someone reading a newspaper, and it's like man with like claws for hands or claws in his hands gets into a bar fight or something. Like, so they are dropping little Easter eggs that are setting these things up.
I forgot about that or missed it. I'm not sure.
It's a small thing. It's not a big thing, but they are doing. And Deadpool's going to bring, is going to do something. And I think this whole Secret War stuff is going to be where that stuff's really starting to come in.
Because you really do have to kind of retcon them in there, because you've got certain characters like Magneto who's tied into the Holocaust. So you can't just like have, the mutant X gene starts today and then goes for, like, that doesn't work. Like, you have to retcon this stuff. So that's
unless they don't have him attached to the Holocaust anymore.
Or like Wolverine, you've got like the wars and stuff that he's been through and things like that. You're going to skip all of that. Like, all that storyline is going to go away.
Only reason those stories even existed is because the movies came out.
No, they were in the comics.
He was in World War II. He was in World War II.
Right.
That was the only thing we knew as far back as him being older. So we thought he was thought to maybe be like 70 or something at the time.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with him being all the way back to like...
And like, like the Weapon X project and stuff. Like what I'm saying is when you first see Wolverine on the screen, I doubt we're going to see a 12-year-old Wolverine in today's world.
I hope not.
So that means that some of this story has to exist. And well, how did that happen? That's what I want to start seeing. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we get. I think you're right. If anything, Deadpool might bring some of that, but they're also going to do it in a, joking manner. And you're not going to know how much of this is real and how much of this is stupid, silly. And so we'll see. I'm just getting frustrated because I feel like they're dragging us along and giving us this other shit that we don't really care about with characters that at least I don't care about. So
my problem is they're like, I was X-Men have always been my thing. That's what got me into Marvel. That's got me into comics in general. So getting invested in the Avengers and those characters, like I'm fine getting invested in them, but like make me care. You got to put that drama and that tension and that story in there to make it worthwhile. And I feel like most of Phase 4, not all of Phase 4, was very just event spectacle, and there wasn't a lot of character growth, character development.
You're right.
You go from Wanda having her whole issue in WandaVision to letting it go, and then she's, and I know people differ. Like I thought at the end of that she was going to be working on a path to redemption. She was just focused on the kids. So when she shows up and is instantly the bad guy in Multiverse of Madness, like that felt like, what did I miss? Like, what am I?
Yeah, there was a left turn somewhere that we missed.
And, it was all for the spectacle of it. She kills all those people at Camertage, and it's like, they bring in, the multiverse. They did not, like the multiverse, they go to like one place where we get like characters from a universe that we are not invested in, make us want to be invested with John Krasinski, seeing Professor X back, Captain Carter, all that stuff. And then they just all get obliterated for no reason other just to show off how powerful Wanda is. And it's like, that my opinion, I just feel like No Way Home and Wakanda Forever hit the emotional beats I need. Ant-Man had some of that, but Ant-Man again felt too disconnected from reality.
I've never been really attached to the Ant-Man story. Like any of the movies have not really pulled me in. That was kind of a side one. But to what you were saying real quick, sorry, let me just throw this out there. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, when they announced that first movie, I gave no shits about, I had no idea who they were, I had no tie into that movie because I knew nothing. But they built up those characters and they made me like them and they told a good story. So I hear exactly what you're saying. Like if you're going to give us B team Avengers because you killed off the A team Avengers, that's fine, but at least make me care about these folks. And so far they have not done that. Like the folks that they're doing movies about right now, I really don't give a shit.
Like with Ant-Man, again, he was a character I wasn't super invested in, but knowing the cast, I was like, all right, this is going to be fun. And I liked it. The second one I thought was good. And then the whole thing where he finds Cassie in Endgame and she's, it's been 5 years and she's like all grown up. Like that had me, that moment, just his expression when he meets her and he's like, oh, you're so big. Like I don't even have kids. And I was crying at that point in the movie. I'm very emotionally sensitive. I react very easily to things, but like that really hit me. And I really connected to that plot line. And then when they replaced the actress for whatever reason in Quantumania, that started to disconnect. And when then so much of that movie was not, because both the Ant-Man movies are so grounded in the real world as far as settings, locations, and just being in the quantum realm, it just felt so disconnected and everything was just kind of happening because it had to happen. It didn't land as emotionally for me. Like, Janet not telling them what was going on with her and Kang
for like an example
for like 5 scenes.
You just telling your family what's going on.
It's like it was to like build up this tension. It's like we, as the audience, we already knew that there was a connection there. Like why are you making them suffer and us wait? So I still liked Ant-Man and Quantumania, but
I hope you're right, Joe. That would be awesome if they did House of M tie-in with Wanda. That would be great. So
I'm not giving up on Marvel. I'm not. I hope that like what they've done with Star Wars and being with Disney and everything, that they realize that quantity doesn't necessarily equal quality.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they've already started to dial some stuff back on both companies' side, like both productions lines and stuff. So like focus on the good storytelling. Like don't give me 75 Star Wars shows just because you can. Give me 5 really good Star Wars shows or 2 really good Star Wars shows.
And don't put in a movie with 50 million cheesy laughs that goes nowhere.
Unless it's just a comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I like to laugh like anybody else, and there's a time and place to throw in a good one-liner, but give me some substance to the movie. So
Yeah.
the best part about Ant-Man to me was Kang. Like I loved the performance. I love the idea of all the different ones. I like where they could go with it. To me, that is kind of a payoff when it comes to like the multiversal thing. I loved the whole Kang thing. So that was where I was like, okay, this is something that I didn't really get in Phase 4. There was no big bad. And so now it's like, okay, now we've got a little bit of a big bad. So
I guess that was my big issue with Phase 4 overall, is there was no overarching like storyline to like build up towards. And I'm hoping that this next phase does that, because that's what the credit scenes are for, and that we didn't really get any of that in Phase 4 at all.
I think I think the series, the TV series, in my opinion, did a much better job of the movies in Phase 4 of furthering the story. Like you're talking about, the moment with Ant-Man when he comes home and it's been 5 years and all this and that. Well, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we got to see kind of a lot of that, like what happened in that 5-year period, and when these people came back, like what that did to society and the economy, and all these things that happened because of that, and how it affects people. So I think we did get some story progression throughout the TV series, but the movies we didn't get a lot, in my opinion.
I'll agree with you. I was thinking strictly in the movies, but the show, I liked all of the shows. I don't think they were all the best, but I liked all of the shows.
Yeah.
I think Miss Marvel and Moon Knight, I didn't take as much out of those, but WandaVision I loved. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I felt like it was really good until the very end. I thought the way that it ended was kind of like really cheesy. Loki, I really liked the Loki series. I felt like those were really progressing the story, and then the last couple ones, the Moon Knight and then the Miss Marvel, they're parts of the series that I like, and I'm glad that I watched them, but it didn't feel, they both felt kind of disconnected from the other stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And then She-Hulk, I really liked She-Hulk, and I felt like that was one of the most kind of cohesive parts of the MCU in Phase 4, where it actually did tie into some of the other stuff going on. And I thought they did a lot of good things in She-Hulk, even though there are a lot of people that kind of hated that series for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I thought She-Hulk and Hawkeye did the same thing. Like I thought that it was very cohesive.
Yeah. I really liked Hawkeye. Like Hawkeye and
Hawkeye was good too, yeah.
Or Falcon and Winter Soldier are probably my 2 favorite overall. She-Hulk and Moon Knight are right up there.
I love
WandaVision is the most like that. Like I was literally sobbing in that final episode where you see her, the whole breakdown of like what happened, and she reads the thing like, this is where we'll grow old together. Like that wrecked me. Yeah, I think I
love Black Widow's sister in Hawkeye too.
Yeah,
like she's like some of her delivery on her one-liners, even in the Black Widow movie too. Like I think she's just like I don't know. She's got a certain way that she delivers lines when they give her something funny to say that she just fucking nails it, man. It's awesome.
To Star's comment here about how little story there was in Infinity War, characters show up, fight, rinse, repeat. Need antagonists to be slower. I do hope we stop getting a lot of these like one-off bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kang, they're building up. Like we met a version of him in Loki.
Yeah.
And they kind of set that up where we got him in Quantumania. We're going to see more of him, I imagine, or some effects of him in Loki 2. It's, clear they have said, he's kind of the big thing, but like Ultron should not have been, especially a movie called The Age of Ultron, should not have been a one and done movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see that in there, like how Jarvis eventually became Vision. That's cool.
Yeah.
You have Tony working on this Ultron thing. Maybe it goes wrong at the end of the movie and he comes back later to wreak havoc. I feel like the shows are a good place to stretch out these bigger building blocks or be more isolated like Moon Knight was, where it's not as connected. But the movies, we've had 10 years of them doing this, over 10 years of them doing this, where like they're kind of leading right into the next one. So when phase 4 doesn't really connect to anything, it's like you took like 10 planks out of this rope bridge out. Like I can see it's going to keep going over there, but like, how am I supposed to get there?
Well, and through the first 3 phases, you got Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, you got Civil War, you got Infinity War, you got Endgame. You had all these team ups that happened. And in phase 4, we had like very little or no team ups, really,
like cameos.
So you have like something happen like the Eternals, where you have, like basically the planet is getting ready to be destroyed and nobody else shows up to fight there. Like, I get if it's just if you're doing a Daredevil show and he's fighting local crooks and gangsters and stuff, I get that Captain America isn't going to show up and help him fight gangsters. Understood. But if something's causing a world crisis, and the world's getting ready to die, you're telling me that Doctor Strange doesn't show up, Hulk doesn't show up, like nobody shows up. It makes it very difficult to believe in those kind of things. Like you're making these huge situations that are so like everything's got to be the end of the world or the end of the universe, but then you don't include the heroes that would stop that if that were to occur. So
I liked Eternals. I agree that with what was happening, obviously the world didn't know what was going on until that thing started to come out at the end. But yeah, like I feel
no, because there were the creatures that were coming up before that, though, right? That were attacking certain areas and stuff.
Yeah, but there was only like 5 of them or whatever, at the but
I agree that Doctor Strange should have felt that, or like would have, you know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be the protector of this realm, of this earth.
Well, what if timeline wise, this is when he's doing the whole stuff with the multiverse and that's why he's not here? Maybe their events are, at the end of his movie, we see him go off to whatever the other reality is with Clea, I think there's ways to work around it, but like to have that movie where that's such like, there's literally a giant creature being born out of the planet, or that should have been a little bit more, we should have seen those other heroes showing up at the end
Let me give you a different one. You got Multiverse of Madness, and Wanda's got the Darkhold. She's destroying everybody at Kamar-Taj. She may end up destroying the entire multiverse, and Doctor Strange doesn't call any of the other Avengers. He doesn't call, like, there's no, let's get Banner out here. Let's get, Vision. Let's get, the Vision at that point's gone. You got the White Vision, but that's it. But like, they don't call anybody else to come in as backup. It's, I don't know. Like the reason I liked the Falcon and Winter Soldier is because they were dealing with what I would consider to be a local threat, to where it's understandable that they would be handling that on their own. in WandaVision, that was all localized. I get kind of what's going on there too. But when you do these movies and you like try to make these situations that are so dire that it's going to be the end of everything, well, then everybody should be included, or at least more people should be included.
I agree. I can't stand the constant world ending. Like, I know there's that whole joke about like, oh, this is an Avengers level threat, the memes.
Aren't they all? Yeah.
But like, they don't, not every story, like it needs to be a world ending threat for the character you're dealing with, not necessarily the actual reality,
Right.
Make me care about why that character, why Doctor Strange and America are in this battle with Wanda, as opposed to Wanda's going to destroy the multiverse. That's cheap to me, in that when it's done cheaply, like I thought they did it great in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, how Riri's device gets taken from her. They discover vibranium. Vibranium leads, or this, under the ocean, that leads Namor to confronting the Wakandans. And it's like, all of that worked for me as to why that threat was a thing, but it wasn't some global external force. It was an unknown force that most of the world doesn't know about, but they did it good. And just Namor's the best part of that movie, in my opinion. Well, one of the best parts. I think Angela Bassett was phenomenal in that movie.
Yeah, you basically got two secret societies at war with each other, and the nature of them being secret societies makes it to where I could get it that people don't really know what's going on. Now, had Namor won, that could have had dire consequences on everybody, and then at some point they would have had to get involved.
Yeah,
but I get why it wasn't in that movie. It makes sense to me.
Right. Yeah. And, you've got these two world nations that are essentially superpowers with the most advanced technology, and the world doesn't know they exist for the most part, I think that's, anyway,
and that's another reason why She-Hulk worked for me too. Like, it's all localized stuff that she's dealing with. Like, nothing in there is like, okay, maybe you're chasing down Abomination and you're he broke out, or he's doing this and that, and is he good, is he bad, and some of those things. But none of it was, hey, let's it never got to an Avengers level threat,
right?
And it was all that
kind of. I didn't like the stuff they did in Thor: Love and Thunder, where you had Asgard turned into a theme park by the Asgardians. I didn't care for that. We've talked about that before, Chris, I know. But I feel like the jokey, weird, nonchalant way that superheroes exist in the world of like, especially She-Hulk, they kind of played with that a little more. Feels kind of real world to me in a way, because like that's one thing I liked about Jurassic World. You get this park, in the original movie it was the majesty, the wonder of it, but in Jurassic World it's like the world's been living with this for 10 years now, and they know this technology exists, and it's everything Hammond didn't want it to be. It's like the big expensive Disney park thing, and the magic of the dinosaurs. They have like the amusement or the petting zoo where kids are just playing with them like they're goats and everything. Like it stole the magic away from it, I think, for the people in that world. And I think that's it, because like superheroes aren't like wow in the world anymore. It's kind of like, what was it, one of the Spider-Man movies where they're like, oh, they love you until they hate you and they turn on you, because like what Jameson was doing with the paper and everything.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's kind of happening now with fans in the real world with the movies. Is they're not really giving us anything good, so we're kind of turning on it. But I think they can turn it around. I don't know. I think my brain's going way deeper than it needs to right now.
No, you're good. Nate, saw a few people were talking about Peacemaker, and that's James Gunn. Like, he is a good storyteller, and I'm hopeful. We'll see. I'm hopeful that he is bringing some of that to the DC with the stuff that they're doing. Now, he's not going to be directing every movie that they have, but hopefully he has enough influence on what's going on in those movies that it is character driven and story driven, and we get a lot of that.
I read a little tidbit from him this weekend, and it's what put it in my mind, is like, he was talking about like the superhero fatigue. He's like, if the superhero fatigue is not the superheroes aren't the problem, it's telling quality stories with those superheroes. And when you can get everything you want as soon as you want it, the build up, the anticipation, I hate seeing all the behind the scenes stuffs before the movies come out. Like what they like, I don't know. I saw a bazillion posts this weekend about Daisy Ridley coming back as Rey. It's like, I'm excited for that. I like Rey. I hope they can course correct the things that were wrong in the sequels and make that the story that I want to see. But for the next 5 years or however long it takes till that movie comes out, like, I don't want to see. I stopped following a lot of like actors and celebrity stuff, so I don't see that sort of thing. Because like, I just want to, like, remember when you were a kid and you went to see The Rocketeer or something, and you had no idea what the movie was going to be about. Like, you didn't get like the Lego releases that gave away plot points 4 months before the movie hit the theater. Like.
I do my best now to try not to watch like any trailers, teasers, anything, unless I'm at a movie, like a different movie, and they're playing like the trailers before the movie. That's the only time I'll see previews, or at least I try anyway. So
I'll watch them once when they first hit, maybe twice, because I'll probably see it on my phone first and then watch it on the TV at night, bigger. But I don't go back. I used to rewatch stuff all the time just to get excited about it. Now it's like, I just want to experience it when I get to the theater.
Well, I used to do like where you'd watch like the YouTube shows where they're breaking down every like flash that comes up on the screen, and they're like, well, this, you may not have noticed this, but this character means this, and this is where the story is going to go. And
there's 5 characters in Rogue One. There's 5 Knights of Ren. So the guys from Rogue One are the ones that become the Knights of Ren, and
yeah, and then for like 3 TV series, we think that Mephisto's going to come out, and he never does. Right? Like everybody, like, oh, it's got to be Mephisto. It's going to be Mephisto. Yeah. And then the next series comes up, is like Loki comes up. Well, Mephisto's going to be the big bad in this one. No. Okay. Nope. No Mephisto. But we'll see. I think, like if you look at the character of Peacemaker or any of those characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy, like they're more than one dimensional. They've got a lot of depth to those characters to where you can see when they're in pain. You can see when they're happy. You can see what, like it's, I don't know. That's what I'm hoping we get some more of. So we'll see. I've always been a bigger DC Comics fan than a Marvel Comics fan, but the movies have always been shit. So I'm hoping that this kind of starts them down on a path where that gets better, but time will tell. I don't know. What do you think, Alexander? Like, you a DC guy, Marvel guy? Are you looking forward to anything coming up from either?
I've always been more of a Marvel guy, but I've always loved Batman. I think that's a lot of the case with a lot of people that I know anyway. Yeah. Blue Beetle looks actually like a lot of fun. I don't know a whole lot about the character. He's only been on my radar for the last few years, but I'm looking forward to that movie. I'm looking forward to the James Gunn universe. I guess that's what you call it, for DC. I thought Suicide Squad was really good. I'm one of the few people that liked the first Suicide Squad. I know I'm going to get some hate for that, but I thought it was a fun movie. I don't really go into movies thinking they're all going to be like Endgame. You know what I mean? So, I kind of go into movies thinking, is it going to be entertaining? I hope so. I'm looking forward to Guardians. I'm looking forward to the TV shows that are coming out for the next 9 months or whatever it is. It's a good time to be a Marvel fan, especially for the movies, and now hopefully DC stuff too, along with Star Wars. It's like everything that I grew up with. We're like in a prime time right now. It's amazing.
The DC movies should have been good. They had the star power. They had, like, I'm not a fan of what Zack Snyder did storyline wise with some of the stuff, but I think he makes visually impactful, entertaining movies. Like, I think I think he can be a good filmmaker when he's not getting his own way. Same with Michael Bay. I see stars comment about Transformers. I think Michael Bay can make great movies when they're not. It's kind of like George Lucas with the prequels. I think George Lucas is a great idea storyteller, but he needs someone else to be the one translating his thoughts for the audience. And I think Dave Filoni does a great job at that. I think the fact that James Gunn was able to take a character who was essentially one-dimensional in the Suicide Squad movie of Peacemaker and get to watch him become a three-dimensional character over the course of the Peacemaker show was really good. Like, that was a painful, because I was like, how am I going to watch this show? In the first episode, I'm like, all right, it's kind of funny. And then by the time I got to the end, I was like, wow, this is good. This is actually character-driven story development. And the Transformers movies absolutely have zero of that.
With the Peacemaker, it's like you start out with him being the character that's fun to hate, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to see some of the stuff about how he was raised and how his father treated him, the stuff with his brother, and, you know, just how the other people that he works with treats him. And, you know, like you start to feel for this guy, and like you start liking this guy that you really probably shouldn't like because he's still kind of a douche.
Well, yeah.
But he I don't know, you just kind of, you can sympathize and empathize with him a little bit, you know?
I think you can do that without accepting his bad behavior. Like,
right.
Because like then you come to see all the stuff about how he was raised with his, like you said, with his dad and his brother. And then you get that whole reaction from, I forget the character, but the guy he always calls Diebeard.
Yeah.
You know, like his whole, he's like, why do you, he's like, and you see him like saying that, like, stop calling me that, like throughout the whole series. So like, you know, I think that's very, you know, I wouldn't want to see every DC movie done in that way where like I hate the main character and I love them by the end of the movie. But I think, because I didn't hate all the Guardians when I thought, but they're all, I mean, they even say it in the first movie. There's like, a bunch of assholes standing in a circle. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, as much as I love Captain America, there is a level of he's too much of an ideal to live up to. Whereas I think that's what Superman should be, but he should be relatable. But you get characters like Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, some of these other characters were a little more, he might be a little too realistic. Oh, I like what they did there. Like, you know.
I will say on the Transformers, like those movies are, I mean, they're okay. I mean, the story's not great, the whatever. I liked the one that I did like though is the Last Night one. I don't know if you
are you for real?
I loved it. Yeah. I liked the whole tie-in and the things that they did historically to put it. I liked that one.
Okay.
That's my favorite one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah. And it's got that, isn't Anthony Hopkins in that one?
For some reason.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one. So
okay.
But I did not like the Bumblebee movie. Thought that was stupid.
See, I like Bumblebee.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
I was not a fan. And I didn't like the first couple Transformers movies. Just, you know, it too much Shia LaBeouf and not enough Transformers, and
100%. That's why I like Bumblebee, because there was only one heroic character that you had to adjust. So seeing a human character bond with that character, I thought was good, and that would have been a good way to launch into the next movie where it's more about the robots. Because like, I can emotionally connect to a robot character if you make it a character and not just a spinning blob of gears, you know, like.
I didn't like the way the Transformers looked either. Like, I just, I get it that you're trying to make it look more realistic. Like if they were Transformers, like what they would look like, but I wanted them to look more like the cartoon, like,
which is why I like,
or, you know,
which is why I like Bumblebee. I thought they really did a good job of making them look.
They were closer, yeah, for sure.
They gave it a more realistic look, but made them have some of that Gen 1 feel, and
I can see that.
I appreciate it. That's why I wish that would have continued. But yeah,
I could see that. I think with the DC movies that you were talking about, I think they all had the same problem, and I think the problem was is that DC was so focused on what Marvel was doing and felt like they were behind the 8 ball. Like, Marvel's got such a lead on us that they tried to rush each one of those movies. So in Superman, I think instead of focusing on building the character of Superman, you immediately within the first movie bring in these Kryptonians and start destroying the planet, and he has to fight this off, and then he kills Zod, which is totally out of character, but you don't know it's out of character because you didn't even take time to build the character. Then Batman v Superman, I felt like that was all rushed together. Like you're basically bringing him and Batman and Wonder Woman, and then you throw in Doomsday at the end of the movie for no reason whatsoever at all. And it's just like, again, they just like try to throw too much into too short of a time period. And then you get to Justice League and same kind of thing. Like I feel like they just try to throw all this stuff together. Like you haven't even explored these other characters before putting the team together and building them to go after this big bad. And, the only thing that worked for me in that version of DC was Wonder Woman. Like I felt like the Wonder Woman was good. Aquaman was okay, but Wonder Woman was good. But all the other stuff, the Superman, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, all of them, I felt like they just rushed them and tried to throw too much in the movie to play catch up with Marvel. And it was terrible storytelling, terrible character development.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
I mean, Batman v Superman was supposed to be Man of Steel 2. And then I think there was such an overreaction to the destruction in Metropolis in the first movie that they course corrected it to make to force the basically the Dark Knight Returns story fit into it.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it grow naturally. And I know Steele mentioned this. I liked the concept of Zod and the Kryptonians coming to destroy Earth, like to terraform it into a new planet for them. I agree with you though, Curtis. I don't like that being the first movie.
Yeah.
Like get me invested in Clark, get me invested in Lois and this version of these characters. And yeah.
That's what I think they did so well in the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Like you gave us the first movie was all about Superman, all about Clark, growing up, the lessons that he learned, the character that he is, getting the job at the newspaper. You developed that character. And the big bad in that movie is Lex Luthor, who's not an imposing physical big bad. He's just a mental, like somebody you have to compete with mentally. So then by the time you get to the second movie and now you introduce Zod and his cronies, now you know who Superman is. And the world has accepted Superman as, this hero. He's not this alien that they're all scared of and stuff. So I just wish they would have done something like that more.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Hopefully
we have
Joe talking about the is that the Brandon Routh one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. I can't agree with you on that one. Hey, you like it?
I would have to go back and rewatch it because I'll be honest, the only thing I remember from that movie is the scene where the bullet hits his eye and melts or whatever. But that's absolutely the only thing I remember from that movie. So I'd have to go back and watch it again.
Alexander out for a second while he steps away.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't dislike Man of Steel. Overall, I liked Man of Steel. There are things about it that don't work for me now the more I think about it. Overall, I liked it, but it there were some things that didn't quite land for me, but I don't dislike. It's one of the few of those DC movies that I still own. This Man of Steel. I got them all on Steelbook, so I kind of am too connected to the Steelbook. I'm more connected to the Steelbooks on those than I am to the actual movies to want to get rid of them yet.
The collectible aspect of them.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was buying DVDs and Blu-rays, I was buying all the special editions and stuff, and I don't even know if I have half of them anymore. It's kind of sad, but because I don't really watch movies like I used to.
I'm the kind of guy that I have where I sit. So I've got my TV, my love seat sits right across from the TV, and all of my movies are right behind the love seat. And I will pay $3.99 on Amazon to watch a movie that I have right behind me on DVD. Just because I don't feel like getting up, getting the movie, open it up, going and hooking up the PlayStation or whatever I'm going to play it through. Yeah. And like, so yeah, I'll just go to Amazon and pay the $3.99.
That's a super chat though, Curtis.
Yeah. It was funny because I mentioned that in a super chat one time that I paid $3.99 to watch movies that I already own, and then somebody said, "You paid $4.99 to tell us that you paid $3.99." Yeah, well, it is what it is. Did you guys get? Well, I know we talked early on, so unless you got something in the last couple of days, Jesse, did you get anything new in this week? No. Alexander, you get anything new come in?
What was the last thing I got? Oh, what did I get recently? I don't remember now. I got my son a couple of the build a figure Beast Boy from McFarlane.
Oh, yeah.
I've only found a couple of those. I've got the Calabec. Mega Fig.
Oh, he's cool looking.
Yeah, he's super cool looking.
The one that builds the Beast Boy, is that whole series Teen Titans? Is that right?
I believe so. The only two that we don't have is Arsenal and I think it's Dana Moon or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not familiar with the character, but from what I'm told, it's some sort of Wonder Woman-esque character.
She was I think she was Wonder Girl. She has like the black hair and like the black outfit.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. It's not Donna Troy.
Oh, it could be. I thought it was Donna Moon.
I think it's Donna Troy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's how not into DC I am. I don't know a whole lot of characters. So.
Well, as long as your son likes them, I guess.
Well, Stark, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they basically say Earth was Unicron at the end of one of the movies?
Oh God, did they?
Because there's like a spike start. I think is it Age of Extinction? I don't remember. I just felt those movies got worse as they went on.
So speaking of Unicron, what were your guys' thoughts of the cartoon movie in the 80s?
It was one of the most traumatic things I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
It was a fixed point in time defining moment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's defining for me, but I remember it being like, holy crap. Like it was awesome when I first saw it. And it's been about 15 years since I've seen it last. So
I've seen some things since then about, basically they wanted to kind of move past the G1 figures and kind of bring some new figures out that people would buy and stuff like that. So I get the merchandising aspect of it, but man, that was heartbreaking. Like,
oh yeah,
the whole Optimus dying. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I really hated about, like, I liked Hot Rod before he became Rodimus Prime. Like, I liked that figure, that character better. So, like, it was like, not only did you kill Optimus, but then you ruined this other cool character that I liked. It's just like, in the process, you made them both suck. Yeah, and then like wasn't into the whole like when the jets turned into like the spaceship things and then Megatron turns into Galvatron. Like I did not, that was not for me.
That part oogs me out. Like I have a thing ever since I was a kid when things get not transformed like the Transformers, but things get like forced into being something else.
Mm-hmm.
It freaks me out. So like in Willow, when they get turned into pigs, like I think I was in my 20s before I could watch that scene. Cause like it just makes me so uncomfortable watching those guys get like stripped down and like that grid thing and get turned into new characters. That always bothered me. Yeah. But like that opening scene, where the Decepticons take over the shuttle. And they just kill all the heroes, and Megatron just like such heroic nonsense. It's just like, what? Like, I mean, that'd be like the Avengers just showing up at the beginning of Avengers like the Avengers movie or Avengers 2, and Ultron just comes in, kills them all, and and we're stuck with all these characters that we didn't know. Yeah, like at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, the good guys can die, because like He-Man every week it's just like,
right,
he gets the sword, he beats the bad guys because they're goofy. They finally made the villains in a cartoon effective, and that shattered my reality as a kid. And
and then like on top of it, like when they kill Optimus, and then I'm like, well, clearly they're gonna make Ultra Magnus the big hero, right? Because he's cool and he looks kind of like Optimus, and he's and then they don't make it Ultra Magnus. They it's like what are they doing here? I don't get this. Like, yeah. I tell you another thing that you were talking about that freaking you out. The thing that freaked me out was that dude with the 3 heads, the rotating, what I'm talking about, the robot thing.
Oh yeah, the
can't remember what his name was.
Quintesson,
something like that. Yeah,
got the 4 heads. That
guilty,
innocent.
That freaked me out, man.
Yeah, those guys,
I hated that thing. Yeah. Another one, kind of what you're talking about with like being transformed into something that messed with me when I was a kid, was Superman 3, when the lady gets thrown into that thing and then all of a sudden it like puts all those like robotic parts and stuff on her and stuff. Dude, that scared the shit out of me. I was so freaked out by that. It's like she's just in there and it's like, oh. Yeah, that one gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. I never actually saw that movie all the way through, but I saw part of that scene once as a kid, and yeah, that's another one. Like, fortunately, it's not enough ingrained in my mind to remember it, but yeah,
it's not a bad movie. It's got the whole at one point Superman goes bad, like they and like it, but then he has to fight himself. There's the whole good versus bad Superman. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Superman 3.
Yeah,
Superman 4 is rough. Like that one's like one is good, 2 is amazing, 3 is pretty decent, 4 is
something else.
That one's rough. That's the like Nuclear Man or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't mean to spring this on you guys. I meant to ask you about this earlier, but I was wondering if we could give something away.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
We got that kind of capability.
Yeah. Let me find the tool here real quick.
Yeah, I mean, at this point we're pretty late in the night, and we're down to about half the viewers that we had. But hey,
I meant, like I said, I meant to
more of a chance to win.
Yeah.
All right, where does this go?
I loved bad Superman in the Superman 3. Like he's drinking at the bar and stuff.
Right.
And
right. That was
like he's like hitting on women.
It was like the first time we saw that like on the film like that with superhero. It was amazing.
Okay. What go ahead. I'm gonna make you big here so you can you talk about it, and then we'll figure out what so for those of you, we got like 11 people still watching. Hang on, we're gonna do a giveaway. You're gonna type a hashtag and we'll figure that out and get in touch with Alexander to get this set up. So go ahead, Alexander.
We just started shipping from Gizmo Customs. So now we're able to ship my fountains, and in honor of that, I want to give this one away on the stream tonight.
Sweet.
Oh, awesome. That one's really cool.
Do you have a website or anything, or they just contact you if they're looking to get something shipped?
I have. I just started this weekend. I made a post on my Instagram just to message me. It's first come, first serve.
Okay.
I have a batch of 5 up right now, with letters on them. There's A, B, C, D, and E, and they're 115. That's including shipping. Yeah, first one that comes at me with whatever letter is the winner of that. I guess the winner, the
All right,
one
let's
that gets it.
throw this up here real quick so we can. So go to drunk_Gizmo
__
customs
Yep.
on Instagram. So for people to get a hold of you, so anyone watching, if you are the winner, go to @drunkgizmocustoms on Instagram. You'll find Alexander's page and all his awesome fountains and dios. Like he was just saying, there's a couple up for sale right now, but he's giving this one away to one of the viewers tonight. So we'll bounce that down, and
that's really cool. I like the rune type things on the side and stuff. Very dwarvish.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll leave that. Let's see if I can leave that up. And all right, so what do we want to do for just hashtag fountain?
Yeah.
All right, don't start typing yet. All right, so you're just going to do, oops, the banner's back up, make another one here. So we're going to do this. So go ahead, folks, start doing hashtag fountain. And just to make sure our shipping continental US.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lower 48. If you're not in there, get in contact with me. We'll figure something out.
Okay. All right. So yeah, folks, if you're watching,
Got a few people already.
Hashtag fountain. We'll give this a couple minutes. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this here. So I'm going to pull up your page real quick. Show that off for a minute while people are typing.
Got 4 in so far.
Okay.
Hashtag fountain, people.
Hashtag fountain.
I'll share this screen for a minute. What's going on here?
Nice. Got a blood one.
Where'd it go?
Yeah.
Where'd it go? There we go. Okay. So let me get back over to that page. So if you are interested in, you can check out, this is letter A.
There's
Blood fountain.
2 pictures for each one.
Okay. There's B. Similar but different.
And that's one thing that I like about my fountains. I mean, kind of biased, but they're all handmade. They're all different designs. They're all similar but different. I do that on purpose because some people may not like, 3 rivets, or they don't like certain moss at certain spots or whatever. So
yeah,
I kind of change it up a little bit.
Cool.
So I love the splash effect, like in the water that you have going on there. You do a really great job with those. So
Thank you.
Yeah, that E is similar to the one that I picked up from you. I really love it. Yeah.
All right, so let me get back over to this. Start. All right, so we got 9. We got 9 in the moment. We got 13 people watching. Give it another minute here.
Are you able to pull up that thing that shows who's?
I will. I'll pull that up when we run it.
Gotcha.
Destination Stone. The letter C one is one of my favorites.
Yeah, with the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Where's that? Is that the?
And for those of you that weren't at MesquiCon, let me just tell you, his stables that he's got now, they're pretty fabulous. I would, if you have any horses at all for Mythic Legions, you're gonna want to bring some money for one of those stables at LegionsCon because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. kind of dio you building, Joe?
All right. I got too many windows open. Not that one. I never do this much on my computer.
Bogging
I'm
it
all
down.
confused. No, not bogging it down. I'm just. Oh shoot! Did I just close it? Crud! I think I closed it.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to do it again.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the newer style fountains. Cosmic kind of scares me because where my mind wants to go, I know I could probably do it. I just got to figure out how to do it because I'm not very good with electronic stuff, and it kind of scares me to get to that point.
Okay.
Like in a good way, I guess. But there's a lot of ideas floating around. So
gotcha. Joe says that he's doing a forest scene, so it's his first custom dio. So
okay, awesome.
Cool.
Well, Joe, I think won the fountain I gave Legion's Lair guys to give away.
Cool. Joseph is asking, did you say that you're not making it to PowerCon? Do you like any local shows, Motor City, Capital City, or just saving money for LegionsCon?
I don't think I'll be able to make it to PowerCon this year. I'd like to get down there, especially with all the Masters or the He-Man stuff that I'm doing, or not all of it, but one that I've done. I might be doing Capital City. A friend of mine, he's an artist. He got a hold of me, and we may be splitting a booth for that.
Okay.
Depending on what is going on with that, I might be at Capital City. We'll see about that. Motor City, that's probably a little. I mean, it's just across the state, but I don't know. I'm probably just gonna be, saving some money up for LegionsCon.
Cool, that works.
Yeah, I knew it was you, Joe. I wasn't in on that live stream, but I watched the replay because they were at MesquiCon, and it was kind of funny. Like I had packed up everything, and I look over. I'm like, oh shit. There's a fountain left over. I'm like, oh, you know what I can do? I can give it to one of those guys, and somebody can give it away. So,
awesome.
It wasn't like it wasn't that I didn't want to pack it. It was just like, it's out, and there's other people here. Go ahead.
There you go.
It's all good.
All right.
So
we're gonna do the draw here. We got 9 entries. We got 13 people watching, so I think we've got everybody here.
All right.
So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, draw.
All right.
Hey,
Johnny.
all right, Johnny.
Put him in a body bag.
Congratulations, Johnny. You are the winner of the fountain. Let's take this down. You want to hold that back up again? Let me figure out how to get rid of this. Stop screen. And we'll make you big. Johnny, you are the winner. So make sure you reach out to Alexander at Drunk Gizmo Customs on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, let us know. We'll get you set up with an email, or we'll get you figured out. So
also, Johnny, is that Superman? And if so, what version of Superman is that on your logo? Because that's cool. Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking fountain. And
terrific.
That is going to be an excellent addition to your displays, Johnny.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well,
all right, folks, we're pushing almost another 3-hour episode, so I think we're going to wrap this up tonight.
Yep.
All right.
Anything else? Yeah. Anything else to promote, Alexander?
Just that, just the shipping stuff, and got some up for sale on the Instagram at Drunk Gizmo Customs. We'll be at LegionsCon this year, and possibly Cap the City here in Michigan. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe a couple other local shows here and there. Yeah, we'll see.
Cool.
I don't know. We'll see whatever pops up, and if
Awesome.
it's within the budget.
Beautiful.
Yeah, folks. So if
We
you're
will definitely
watching
see you there.
and if you're not following Alexander, yeah, make sure you follow him at Drunk Gizmo on Instagram, or go back and rewatch the beginning of the show when we did our selections and follow any of those folks. Make sure you hit the like button for those folks. And of course, if you want to hit the like and subscribe here, that would be cool. But what you do, just being here is good enough for me.
Which is something people say. People say that, and we've started saying it. So
I feel icky saying it. I don't mind when other people say it, but I feel weird saying it. But
yeah, but it's the
thing. Have the guests say it for you.
Yeah.
It's the Orm thing, though. Yeah, it's something that I've started saying now.
Awesome. It looks like Johnny just followed you, so
there you go.
Yeah, reach out. You guys get set up, and Alexander, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for that giveaway. That was awesome.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
I know we'll definitely be doing some more of those when and if we hit 500 on the channel. We'll get something planned out for that. Got a ways to go, but
I see we got Destination Stone on there too. Got a couple great videos of their trip to Atlanta for that toy show, Toy Atlanta. So check that out. Really fun time. So
awesome. All right, Alexander, we're gonna bump you out and wrap up. Feel free to hang out for a minute, or if you need to get going, that's also cool. Thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been a blast.
It's fun.
Awesome. All right, Curtis, anything from you this weekend or coming up?
Check out OffWorld if you guys haven't yet. On YouTube.
What's OffWorld?
Yeah, put in Let's Go OffWorld, and it'll come up with a new YouTube page. We've got 2 episodes up there right now. We've got episode 0 and I guess episode 1. We just did one on Friday. It was like 4 hours long, but it was fun. I had a great time. Laughing so hard that I was crying at times. So if you haven't checked that out, please check that out. Subscribe, hit the notify for when we go live. I think we're doing one this Friday, right, Jesse?
Yes. We did the episode 0, which was recorded. We did an impromptu surprise show Friday night, and we'll be back with our new I think probably bi-weekly show live this Friday night. With Curtis, myself, Matt the Dooch, and Sean Scavarna. So come listen to us talk about all the stuff you don't get to hear about on Sunday night.
There you go.
And hopefully laugh.
Other than that, though, I don't really have anything else going on this week until next Sunday. Then
next Sunday is our next guest. Reynolds Cruz is joining us from the Toy Forge, another toy collector, customizer, 3D printer extraordinaire. So he'll be joining us on the beard, putting all of our beards to shame.
Absolutely.
On the show. So tune in next Sunday night for Reynolds Cruz.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Let's I don't have anything else, so let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Thank you everybody for being here. And as always, what's on your shelf? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here.